The National Broadcasting Company presents the National Football League. Today from Rich Stadium, it's the Houston Oilers versus the Buffalo Bills. Brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By the heartbeat of America, today's Chevy truck. And by Allstate, for home, auto, and life insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It's an overcast day with a threat of rain in western New York as today the Oilers are set to go against the Buffalo Bills at Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy. The Oilers come into Buffalo with a lot of optimism in the Oiler organization. As you know, they had a dramatic upset victory over the L.A. Rams last week, coming from behind in the fourth quarter. But the talk of this Oiler team right now, Trump, is defense. They've got a good one.
I think it's justified. In my personal opinion, I think this Oiler defense is the most difficult to prepare for of any team in the NFL. Jerry Glanville's defense will blitz anybody from anywhere at any time. Buffalo today has to be patient to win.
Well, the Oilers face a very fine quarterback. Houston fans know Jim Kelly well from his days with the Gamblers. Last week against the Jets, 73% of his play calls were passes. This one went to Trumaine Johnson for a touchdown, but the Bills came up 3 points short in the end. I wonder what Jerry Glanville will do today, if he's going to be blitzing him a lot, because Kelly's pretty good against the blitz.
I'm sure he will, because that's what Jerry Glanville's done for the last 15 years in the NFL. I repeat, Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills can beat Houston. They've just got to be patient. When they have the opportunity to make the big play, they've got to make it.
There is Jim Kelly set to go. Had a big day against the Jets. And there's his counterpart Warren Moon, who has really come out in the new Oiler offense, which is much more wide open. A season ago, his performance tailed off. Had 26 interceptions because when he threw, they were expecting him to throw. Now he throws on any down. Today's kickoff is brought to you by Budweiser, and the Oilers will kick it off to start the game. Lee Johnson ready to hit the ball. High spinning kick, well hit downfield. From the end zone, Rob Riddick, who scored 2 touchdowns a week ago against the Jets, running from scrimmage, elects not to bring it out. And so the Bills go on offense, 1st and 10 at their 20, and here comes Kelly, now in his 2nd year in the National Football League. His runners are Greg Bell, a 3rd-year player from Notre Dame, and Carl Byram, a big fullback from Mississippi Valley. Speed on the flanks, and Andre Reed and Chris Burkett. Metzlar's a very tall tight end, is a short target. Offensive line is sound. They've got some good people. Wolford coming on, 2nd-year player, left tackle. Bears watching. Now it is 1st and 10 for the Bills. Jamie Mueller is in, starting at fullback. He's the up back, and he's a rookie. Kelly ready to go on 1st down. He's under the gun, and Jim Kelly is sacked at the 15-yard line. Trump.
One of the things about preparing for the Houston Oilers is they disguise defenses all over the place, and what they're hoping is that they get pass rush. Ray Childress, young man who for the Houston Oilers, a 1st-round draft choice a couple of years ago. This is a coverage sack. It's a bad way for the Buffalo Bills to start, and the Houston Oilers defense feeds on that. They just had good coverage down in the field. There you see the front 3 of the Houston Oilers. They'll be all over the place.
Ray Childress, the man credited with the first contact on the sack. Handoff. Mueller, the rookie back, breaks it upfield, crosses the 30, and he's ahead for a 1st down. So Jamie Mueller called on to start today in his 2nd game in the National Football League, runs for 17 yards, and the Bills get a 1st down. Knocking him down on the play was Donaldson and Grimsley. Oilers with very quick linebackers, although not on that play, and a rookie, Al Smith, starts to get an inside backer. Started against the Rams, did very well. He's a 1st-year player from Utah State. The secondary may be the most underrated in the NFL. Steve Brown and Patrick Allen, 2 excellent corners. The big reason the Oilers give up such a low percentage to opposing passers. Handoff to Greg Bell, and he's out to about the 33-yard line. Childress again with the stop. Ray Childress, if not yet, is going to be one of the great players in the league. A 3rd-year player out of Texas A&M, 2nd player picked in the draft.
Childress still learning how to pass rush. When he was at Texas A&M, he used to run over people. He's trying to learn that move around people. He'll be a lot better player. Excellent against the run, and a truly tireless worker for the Houston Oilers.
Bills now with Kelly at the helm, looking for 8 yards on a second down play. He'll be throwing. Here comes the rush again. Kelly overshoots his man and very nearly picked up. He was going to Andre Reed. And coming up quickly was the free safety, Jeff Donaldson, in trouble. If he got it, it would be 6 for the Oilers.
Yeah, Andre Reed kind of pulled his hands back in and let Donaldson have a pretty free shot at it. That's what Houston has to overcome. Jerry Glanville's point, this team doesn't know anything about 33 losses in the last 5 years on the road. This is a very young Houston Oilers team, so they really don't talk about it that much, but it is a factor.
Now 2 wide receivers come to the near side in Burkett and Reed, and this very fleet Trumaine Johnson's at the top of your screen. 3rd down and 8, Buffalo, no score. Kelly's got an end. It's caught by Ronnie Harmon out of the backfield, and he's out to the midfield stripe. Ronnie Harmon, a second-year player from Iowa, who the Bills are still waiting to perform great things, delivers there with a 17-yard play on 3rd down, the run and catch.
Richard Johnson was the man who made the tackle, but Grimsley, 59, was the man in coverage. If you can pick up the blitzers all over the place that you're going to see Houston having everywhere, and Audrey McMillan, number 26, was right in Kelly's face. You're going to have a receiver open. You just got to take advantage of those spots.
He had one there. The zone was back deep, and Kelly hit underneath it. To the run. Oilers giving yards grudgingly as Greg Bell comes in and gets ahead. Bell had 1,100 yards as a rookie runner. He was a surprise #1 draft choice out of Notre Dame. Hurt most of his career there. Went to 880 yards his second year. Last season he was hurt much of the time. Delivered very little. Richard Byrd made the tackle.
And I think Marv Levy, now the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, is trying to find out if Greg Bell is going to be a Buffalo Bill or if he's going to be finding his life's work before the first half of this season's over.
That time he's a Buffalo Bill as Greg Bell weaves his way inside the Oiler defense and down to the Oiler 36-yard line. Jeff Donaldson, the free safety, stopped the play, but it was an 11-yard gain, and Greg Bell is slow getting up, but apparently he's all right. He had a foot problem in college, a fractured foot, which recurred a couple of times, the broken bone.
This is a good power sweep run by Buffalo. Good block by Metzlar's 88 on Grimsley, 59. Bell comes right in behind it. Oh, it looks like he turned his ankle out there on that tackle. That 11-yard pickup. Buffalo's getting in big chunks.
That was for 11. 3 big gainers in this drive. This is the opening drive. There's no score. Jamie Mueller, who ran for 17 yards on his first carry, goes straight ahead this time. Is knocked down by Doug Smith, the nose tackle for the Oilers. Buffalo coming off a 31-28 opening loss here at Rich Stadium to the Jets. The Oilers defeated the LA Rams 20-16 last Sunday, scoring 17 unanswered points in the 4th quarter at the Astrodome.
This offense of Buffalo, too, make a comment about it. They've got some weapons. They can get the ball up and down the field.
Ted Marchibroda is now their offensive architect, the man who coached the Colts to 3 championships, or 3 divisional championships, and Donaldson saves a touchdown. Jeff Donaldson, the free safety for the Oilers, going high. Ronnie Harmon had the defense beaten. Kelly just a little bit underthrown. Trump, that would have been in.
That's strange, too, that Donaldson playing free safety. He's replacing Bo Eason, who is injured. From behind the defense, look at the people coming. You got 59 Grimsley coming from the outside, but everybody's picked up. Donaldson sneaks in there, and that's twice now Houston's almost made the interception.
Kelly was one of only 3 quarterbacks last year to complete over 50% of his passes against this Oiler defense. Oilers beat the Bills 16-7 in the final regular season game.
Blitz.
Dumps it off. It's caught by Ronnie Harmon, and he dumps ahead, and he looks like he might know they're going to spat him out of bounds short of the first down.
Excellent read by Harmon. You can see the cornerback, Keith Bostic coming right at Jim Kelly. See Bostic go inside there. Harmon reads it properly. He's the hot receiver. Riddick, 40, gets a little bit of him. Just slows him up enough that Kelly can get the ball off. If this ball is thrown right in Harmon's gut, he can turn up to make the first down, but as it is, 4th and short.
So Scott Norwood will try a field goal. It'll be a long one. 46-yard attempt. No score in the game. He's got enough distance, and he's got it. So the Bills take it down the field on their opening drive against a strong Oiler defense and get 3 from their place kicker. We'll be back with the Buffalo kickoff after this.
assignments for today.
Like many before, you came here asking for just one thing.
Sadowski.
Shibowski.
A chance.
Pronounced Shibowski.
You're gonna make it here, 'cause you make America work, and this bug's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste
Hey, Sid.
that says Budweiser.
This bug's for you.
Yeah, I know I need life insurance, but I hate spending money on something I hope I'll never use and won't be around to enjoy if it ever is used.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Allstate has life insurance that pays you for living. Allstate Universal Life. It protects your family if you die, and it can provide competitive earnings for your retirement.
So, my family's set if I'm gone, and I'm in the money if I stick around. I think I'll stick around.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Listen to the heartbeat.
It's the first all-new full-size pickup introduced in this decade. The advanced new Chevy with more cab room than Ford, plus a brand new extended cab.
Rough, tough, working stuff. Feel the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet. That's today's Chevy truck.
Take the test drive of the decade in the new full-size Chevy.
The heartbeat of America. Chevrolet. That's today's Chevy truck.
Scott Norwood of the Buffalo Bills putting his foot into the ball. It's officially a 45-yard attempt, and it's officially a 45-yard field goal as he puts up the first points of this game. Buffalo with 10 plays on its opening drive, getting down for the field goal to give them a 3-0 lead. Now the Oilers will get the ball for the first time as Norwood is ready to kick it off. Oilers, after a bad start last year, that's Alan Pinkett, the return man, have won 4 of their last 6 regular season games. They closed strong last year. And, of course, won the opener against the Rams. Here's a high-spinning kickoff that Pinkett, second-year player from Notre Dame, will take back from the 3. He's a weaver and a dancer, and Alan Pinkett tight-ropes the sideline and gets all the way out to the 32-yard line, where they spot him out of bounds. Steve Tasker, a special teams player, got him at a well-done return by Pinkett. Near Trump is Warren Moon, who's been throwing the ball all over the field. Rozier has started to come on. Had his best game as an NFL player last week with 93 yards running against the Rams. Wallace, the fullback. Givens and Hill are just sensational wideouts. They're small, but they're tremendous players. Both over 1,000 yards catching last year. Williams, the left tackle, has a load against him. Bruce Smith, number 78 at the top of your screen. Some say he's as good as any defensive lineman in the NFL.
Fumble.
Bills
Or was he
might
down?
have it.
No.
Bills think
He's down.
they're ruling it's down indeed. Tom Dooley, the referee.
Remember, in the NFL now, the ground can't cause a fumble. And, of course, with the instant replay, generally these things are looked at a second time. But once that next play starts, there'll be no chance for anybody to look at it. Interesting start by Houston, just a dive straight up the middle. We mentioned the wide open offense that Houston has displayed over the last 7 or 8 games going back to last year.
Right now, we'll see them go to something wide open on second down and about 7. Warren Moon looking deep, firing on the run.
Oh!
Very nearly picked off by 2 Bills. He was looking at Drew Hill. 3 really had a play on it. It just goes as a loud out. Incomplete. It's 3rd down and 7 for the Oilers.
Had it touched 6 Buffalo Bill hands. Mark Kelso, the free safety, and Nate Odoms, the cornerback, were right back there in coverage.
McNanny, the defensive end at the left side, got 2 sacks last week against the Jets because Bruce Smith, the right end, was double-teamed all the time and triple-teamed some of the time. Shane Conlon, one of the standouts on the Penn State national championship team, starts at an outside linebacker position for Buffalo. And another rookie, Nate Odoms. Starting at one cornerback, he's nose-on-nose at the top of your screen, playing the bump and run. Bills cornerbacks confident up tight against this Oilers speed. Not close to a connection as the Bills put the heat on. Bruce Smith coming hard. Haywood Jeffries, a rookie wide receiver, was the intended man, and there's a marker down.
On the Buffalo Bills are taking a page out of the Houston Oilers. Whoop, penalty on Buffalo. And taking a page out of the Houston Oilers book and blitzing Roland Mitchell, a cornerback.
Very expensive rookie mistake, Trump. Nate Odoms, who was playing that bump and run, and Ron Pitts. Was it 37 or 27?
I think it was 27, wasn't it? Anybody can help us here? Somebody on Buffalo was holding.
Well, the corner, Nate Odoms, 37, was up very tight on the wideout. And so, it was against Nate Odoms, the right corner. Now he's backing off. You'll see when they cut to the play shot. Nate Odoms is way off Haywood Jeffries, who's at the top of your screen. Handoff, fullback draw. They'll shut it down. First down carry, good for about 3. McNanny made the knockdown for Buffalo. 3-0 Bills in the lead. 9 minutes and 14 seconds to play in the first quarter. Green Bay beaten badly by the Raiders last week. Out in front of the favored Broncos 7-0. Fans in Green Bay, Trump, were cheering for a strike while the Packers were being shut out. Now second down and almost 8. Oilers trail 3-0. First quarter. Free ball on the field. It's recovered by Houston. But for no gain, the ball is spotted at the 42-yard line. So again, Warren Moon goes to long yardage on third down. Rozier missed the handoff.
Bentley was the man that was almost there. The Oilers trying to establish some control of that line of scrimmage, but the Buffalo Bills defense all over them. Now they come with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive backs, a 4-man front, and 1 linebacker, Darryl Talley. This is a blitz front. You'll see man-to-man coverage in a lot of instances here.
Moon on a drop back. Here comes Smith, and he gets him. Bruce Smith, the dominating defensive end, crashing through a double-team block. Big-time player. #1 player drafted in the entire NFL when he came out of Virginia Tech.
Last year he led the AFC in sacks with 15 and didn't make the Pro Bowl. And apparently sitting and watching the Pro Bowl has really been the fuel for this season. Bruce Smith has lost about 10 or 15 pounds and is really committed to playing football, and that sack showed it.
Big rush. Oilers pick up the block. Short punt. It'll come back at Houston. Ron Pitts from UCLA, whose father is the former Packer running back. Elijah Pitts, now a Buffalo coach, runs it back. Walter Johnson, a rookie, made the stop for the Oilers, but the Bills go back on offense, leading 3-0 when we return to Orchard Park.
I got it.
Great ideas don't always arrive between 9 and 5, so IBM is introducing...
The boss will love this.
...the smallest, lowest price Personal System 2.
Distribution, of course. Why didn't you think of that?
With the power and advanced graphics to help you take care of business...
That was inspired.
...anytime.
Aha! Right. I'll sleep on it.
The newest member of the IBM Personal System 2 family at your IBM authorized dealer.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
What's the longest lasting battery you can buy? I'm gonna surprise ya! New Energizer! Sound surpriser! New Energizer! Oi! It's up to test! New Energizer was best! Lasted longer than all the rest! Too right! New Energizer! New Energizer! It'll surprise ya! It'll surprise ya!
Laboratory tests prove in most devices, Energizer lasts longer than any other battery. New Energizer. Oi!
An American tradition continues when the Tigers face the Blue Jays or the Cardinals meet the Cubs. The memories are waiting next Saturday.
Watch the left side of the screen, number 69, Doug Williams. All you see is his right leg, but Bruce Smith gives him the outside move, cuts inside. Rozier tries to help, and the first sack of the day for the Buffalo Bills. That's the pressure point on the Houston offense.
Kelly has completed 2 of 4 for 22 yards to the run on first down behind the blocking of Wolford and Richer on the left side. Greg Bell gets the ball out close to the 40.
That's a man right there.
Smith on the stop.
He can power rush. He's big enough to power rush at 280, and he's also quick enough at 280 to get around an offensive tackle. So you really have to help your offensive tackle.
The game turned on what the Bills thought was a sack of Ken O'Brien of the Jets last week. The official called an incomplete forward pass. Movement in the line as Kelly takes it himself on what might be a broken play and gets out of bounds.
I think that's on Houston. Trying to cheat that line of scrimmage. Get as much pass rush as they possibly can. Create some confusion. Kelly says, yeah, against them. Ray Childress, I think, is the culprit. There he is. Jumps out just a little bit.
I think, Trump, as this game wears on, we're going to see Kelly go more and more to number 33, Ronnie Harmon, the running back from Iowa, who the 49ers thought so highly of. They tried to trade way up in the first round again, and he had a very unproductive first year with the Bills. But today we've seen him make one big play and very nearly a touchdown if Kelly had the ball a little higher. He's been beating the pass coverage coming out of the backfield.
Don, it's very sound when you face a blitzing team. On every single pass play, you have what's called a hot receiver. He has no blitz pickup responsibility other than to turn his head around and be a quick receiver for the quarterback. Harmon is a good candidate for that spot.
2nd down and 1. Running back is Harmon. Breaks into the secondary for the moment. Crosses midfield. He has a first down for the Bills. Tackled by rookie linebacker Al Smith of Houston. 7-yard gain.
So far, the offensive line of Hull at center, Vogler and Richer at guards, and Wolford and Devlin at tackles, opening some nice holes. Ronnie Harmon cuts back inside. Nice little move here as he gets by Smith, the rookie number 54. And I repeat, when the Bills are picking up yards, they're getting it in big chunks.
Harmon on a slant run on first down. Doesn't get much. Al Smith filling the gap, made the tackle. Other backer, Johnny Meads, was also on the stop. It is a 3-0 game. Bills scored on their opening drive on a 45-yard field goal by Scott Norwood. The scoreboard staying the same as we check again. Green Bay still out in front of the Denver Broncos. They're playing at Milwaukee. Your old club, Trump, the Bengals out in front of the 49ers, a team that might be in trouble, San Francisco. Some defensive problems.
An old offensive line, too.
Kelly stands in. Throws it right to Keith Bostic. He's not done yet. Loses the ball. Free football. Oilers have it at the 48-yard line as Jim Kelly put it right in the hands of the standout strong safety Keith Bostic, who's having some year, Trump. That was his 3rd interception of this season. He had 2 against the Rams.
Ball was intended for the tight end Pete Metzelaars, and Bostic stepped right in front of the intended receiver and makes the interception. It was rather easy.
So Kelly has the first big mistake, but the Bills still lead 3-0.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for Golden Lights. Hey, it's a good time for a great taste dinner at
The advanced new Chevy half-ton is all new. Ford isn't, and the advantages stack up. Chevy gives you new 2-tier loading. Ford doesn't. More 2-sided galvanized steel, a bigger, heavier frame, and on top of it all, more standard power with Vortec V6. Want a load of new features? Test drive the first all-new full-size pickup introduced in this decade.
The heartbeat of America.
The advanced new full-size Chevy.
That's today's Chevy truck.
No better value? Right. You get the newest 386 technology in our Tandy 4000 at an incredible price.
386 technology?
Yes, it's faster, more powerful, and it runs today's MS-DOS and tomorrow's OS2 software.
What about desktop publishing?
It's easy. With our laser printer, the Tandy 4000 gives you professional results every time.
I see. Better value.
Tandy Computers, because there is no better value. Only at Radio Shack Computer Centers.
An unprecedented week-long journey through China begins Friday on NBC News.
From behind the defense, you'll see Pete Metzelaars, a tight end, come right in front of John Grimsley, 59. Bostic, 25 right there. Metzelaars kind of stops a little bit. Bostic goes in front of him. First turnover of the game for the Houston Oilers.
Warren Moon, who had a big day a week ago, as Bostic on the sideline, head shaved, and 3 intercepts in the book already this year, looks on. And Moon on first down, throws hard, and Drew Hill comes down with the ball for Houston to the 38-yard line of Buffalo. So a fastball drilled in between defenders, good for a 16-yard gain. Warren Moon against the LA Rams last week threw 43 times, completed 21, 310 yards passing, 2 for touchdowns. He was intercepted twice.
Don, I think fundamentally, when you look at his mechanics of throwing a football, one of the soundest you can find in the NFL.
He's an athlete, Warren Moon. He can also run. Dump off. Goes to Rozier, and he is quickly knocked down. Shane Conlon, the first-year linebacker from Penn State, who grew up very near to Rich Stadium, about 50 miles south of here, makes a big play on defense. It'll be second down and about 14.
That didn't fool anybody. They tried a little swing pass, and Conlon keeps his helmet right in the middle of Mike Rozier and is able to make a good saving stop for a loss of about 4 yards.
He has the ability to stop drives, as you know, Trump, with his defense. He's a very good pass defender. Was an all-state basketball player. Very quick on his feet, 235 pounds.
Now this is where you got to watch Bruce Smith.
Up the middle goes Rozier, taking on tacklers. He's to the 36-yard line of the Bills. So on a second down and long play, Rozier gets ahead for about 6 or 7 yards. McNanny knocked down this former Heisman Trophy winner.
This one will be coming right at you. The Oilers run a draw trap here. And you can see McNanny, 95, fights off that trap and is there to make the tackle on Rozier, with Leon Seals, 96, helping out, and a host of others. Darryl Talley, 56. 3rd and 9.
Now the Oilers go to their red gun offense. 1 running back, no tight end, 4 wide receivers. 3rd and a long 7. They try to get the run, and the Bills are waiting. Big play by the nose tackle, Fred Smerlas, 76.
You see what they were trying to do there? They ran right at Bruce Smith. Great pass rusher up the field, and they ran a trap that time. Seals and also Smerlas there to make the tackle. What they're hoping is that if Bruce Smith gets way up the field, they can trap inside of him. But the nose tackle, Smerlas and Leon Seals, had none of that.
So now, Trump, Tony Zendejas is on the field. Had an excellent season a year ago. Hit on 22 of 27 field goal attempts. Lee Johnson holds. He's got enough into it. And he drills it through. Tony Zendejas hits a super field goal attempt, 52 yards in length. And the Oilers have tied the game at 3-all. That is big. Houston locks it up. They'll kick off when we come back.
How does the advanced new Chevy half-ton stand up to Ford? Chevy gives you more standard power than Ford, more cab room, more shoulder room, more two-sided galvanized steel, new 2-tier loading, and a bigger, heavier frame. So how does Ford stand up to the first all-new full-size pickup introduced in this decade?
Not very well.
The heartbeat of America.
Test drive it.
That's today's Chevy truck.
The years have passed, we face the task. Those boys I called my men. I wonder, could the ties we made now join us once again?
Let American Airlines Super Savers take you to the special moments in your life.
The feelings we all share. We're American Airlines, something special in the air.
This evening, Ken Edwards had a vision of the future. Not of time travel or cities in space, but of his family. His daughter practicing law. His wife heading her own business. Himself retired, writing detective stories. This evening, Ken Edwards had a vision of the future and knew what it would take to get him there. Daddy! Plans for investments and protection from the equitable. We have great plans for you.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Patriots battle the Redskins.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
Good job by the holder, Lee Johnson. The snap is just a little bit low, but Zendejas hits it like a 3-iron and then matches his longest field goal ever as a Houston Oiler, 52 yards. He had a 52-yarder in 1985.
Boyish looking, Zendejas with a long ball field goal, and now the kickoff downfield by Lee Johnson, drilled into the end zone, and the Bills will not bring it out. Riddick downs the ball. They'll start at their 20. Ted Marchibroda in the booth next to us, the man who, as we mentioned earlier, directed the Baltimore Colts to 3 straight AFC Eastern titles when Burt Jones was his quarterback. He's now the offensive coordinator for the Bills, calling the plays down, but right with him is Ted Towner, who coached Southern California the past 4 years. Now he's the receivers coach at Buffalo. They're looking to put more explosion into their offense, and they have the quarterback who can do it, Jim Kelly. The Oilers, that long field goal coming off an interception of Kelly by Keith Bostic. 2:55 to play, first quarter. It's Harmon, tries the left side of the Oiler defense and gets just to the 22. Al Smith, a 6th-round draft choice, who's playing big-time football early in his career, starting his 2nd straight game in his rookie season, makes the stop. This game is the property of the National Football League, of the Houston Oilers and the Buffalo Bills, and all rights are reserved.
Well, they've shortened that a bunch, haven't they?
Yeah. You got the other one, too. So this telecast is presented by...
Oh, yes, I'm familiar with that one.
Hand off to Mueller, turns the corner, and he's knocked down at the 23. A fine open field tackle by John Grimsley. Mueller comes from a small college, Benedictine, but had big numbers there, and he was drafted in the 3rd round.
Now this is where Buffalo must be very careful. The Houston Oilers will come with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 defensive backs, and they'll disguise the coverage, and I guarantee a blitz. So everybody's got to be awake here.
3rd and 7. Look at those Oiler linebackers jump up on the outside, ready to shoot gaps if they're there. Somebody left early. And Kelly takes the brunt of a full blitz. William Fuller, an extra defensive lineman, came in, and they're going to call a sack. Good. William Fuller gets the sack. The movement was against the Bills, and Buffalo has to punt it.
Fuller was untouched. A lot of the Houston Oiler defense is designed to get somebody untouched on the quarterback. He comes from the left-hand side of the screen, and this time it works.
John Kidd punting from inside his 5. Hits an end-over-end punt. It'll come back at Buffalo. Up with the ball and running it back is Curtis Duncan, a rookie. He's waffled at the 45-yard line. But again, Houston will start with very good field position. Remember, their last drive started after the interception of Jim Kelly. It resulted in the long field goal that tied the game. There is a penalty marker down.
It's against Buffalo. I'm sure Houston will take the field position.
Talking to the Oilers, referee Tom Dooley. Just a 33-yard punt and a 3-yard return.
For the kicking team, the penalty is declined. It's first down.
Generally, that means there weren't enough guys on the line of scrimmage, Don.
Marv Levy, the Bills coach, is a special team specialist. He began in the NFL his career with George Allen and the Washington Redskins. They won a lot of games on special teams play. And that's one area he wants to shore up on this Bill team. Warren Moon and the Oilers set to operate again with the game tied 3-3 and 1:20 to play in the first quarter. Mike Rozier, slant run, good for a couple 3 yards. Tackle on the play by Shane Conlon again.
And it almost appears to me that Houston is somewhat afraid to go back 5 or 7 steps and let Warren Moon stand there with Bruce Smith breathing down his throat. They're going to try to protect him as best they can. They're going to have to use a running back to assist Doug Williams as an offensive left tackle. 2nd and 6.
Drew Hill, wide open, makes the reception at the 29-yard line. He burst in a blaze of speed off the right flank, took the cornerback Derek Burrows deep, and then turned in, and Moon was right there on a timing pattern good for a 12-yard gain as Marv Levy gets some counsel from up top on his defense.
That square in pattern, the same one run by Drew Hill in the last drive. Derek Burrows has given him quite a bit of cushion, and he comes out of the ball game now, and Roland Mitchell replaces him at corner.
Man in black.
With an upside-down armadillo on his chest.
Is that right, or is that an Oiler Derrick?
No, that's an upside-down armadillo.
Warren Moon takes a look, swings it out. Well thrown ball and a nice catch. But then a big hit is put on by Darryl Talley, a linebacker who was not expected to play today because of back problems. Fifth-year player from West Virginia, number 56, and that'll conclude the first quarter of play. So the Oilers are driving, and the game is tied 3-3 when we come back to Rich Stadium.
It's not too late to do something about the Vietnam War. See Platoon and understand. See Platoon on video soon.
You know what this party needs? Spuds McKenzie.
There's a super party animal. Come on, baby, do it now, Spuds McKenzie. His name is Spuds McKenzie. Ooh, party, party. With a party ship in sight, a cold Bud Light puts him in a party frenzy.
Spuds McKenzie parties right with only Bud Light. He knows everything else is just a light.
So go, Spuds, go.
Spuds gives motion to the ocean.
This water damage is going to run $750. What would have stopped it?
Thompson's Water Seal protects wood, brick, and concrete with its special waterproofing formula. Thompson's Water Seal, a great defense against repair expense.
Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy back at Rich Stadium. We got a good one going here, 3-3. So far, the Oilers have made the big special teams plays, though.
And also, the big turnover by Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills hurt a great deal. To that point, the Buffalo Bills had handled the pressure and also the blitz of the Houston Oilers very well. Now, my guess right now is that Walt Corey of the Buffalo Bills has got to come up with a blitz here to try to stop the momentum of the Houston Oilers. This drive started at their own 45-yard line, and you got to create that third down and long situation to keep the Buffalo Bills in the game. Numbers about even. The only difference that one interception by Keith Bostic.
Bills with more offense, but points are even, and right now the Oilers are in good position. They've got a guy who just hit a 52-yard field goal in Zendejas. Ready to come in again if the drive stalls. Right now it's 2nd down and 8 for Houston at the Buffalo 27. Markers down. But look at the running back take off, and that's Ray Wallace down to the 9-yard line, fumbles the ball, and the Oilers have it at the 8. Ray might go.
It's very obvious to me. I think that flag is going to be on Smerlis, the nose tackle. You see Jerry Glanville saying, decline the penalty, decline the penalty. But what they're doing is running at Bruce Smith.
We got defense, offsides, the penalty is declined. First down, number 76.
Bruce Smith comes with that wide rush so often, Trump, as you know, and they've been going inside him. At least they did on that play.
That's right. The other thing is that fumble goes back to the spot where it was fumbled, because you can't advance a fumble in the NFL anymore unless the same guy who recovers it fumbled it. That they're trying to run at Bruce Smith because I don't think they can run away from him. He'll catch him from behind.
That play was good for an 18-yard gain. Back to the run, back up the gut, and right at the Bills. Down to the 4-yard line goes Mike Rozier. Played 28 NFL games, and his best was last week when he ran for 93 yards versus the Rams. They say he has a new attitude right now, Trump, looking to run over people. I guess he always played that way. But in his first 2 seasons, he was not a Heisman Trophy winner, at least in the pros.
He wouldn't be the first former Heisman Trophy winner to be average in the NFL, but I think Mike Rozier's attitude has changed for the positive. A lot more committed to winning for the Houston Oilers.
For a while, he wasn't too committed to showing up on time, though. He missed some practices. And
well, you would have to bring that up.
Almost overslept a night game. Handoff, not in, but close. Some power punchers up front blocking for the Oilers. Munchak and Kent Hill, the guards, 2 very good ones. Steinkuhler, right tackle, the best lineman in college football coming out of Nebraska. He's slowed by knee problems, still a good player. Doug Williams, the left tackle that we've talked about, 69 to your left there. He's the man entrusted with, if he can, keeping out Bruce Smith, although he's had double-team help on every block.
He's replacing Bruce Matthews, a holdout for Houston. So far, Doug Williams not doing too bad a job.
Oilers also without their number 1 player, Alonzo Highsmith, who's yet to sign. Throw and a catch and a touchdown for Houston. Drew Hill screens out the cornerback, the rookie, Nate Odoms, and the Oilers again take it down after a short punt. Again, good field position, and again the Oilers turn it into points as they score the first touchdown of the day to take a 9-3 lead.
I think that's a veteran taking advantage of a rookie. Nate Odoms, a rookie out of Wisconsin, has got to look back at that quarterback. Somehow you got to have an eye on the receiver and also an eye on the quarterback to know when the ball's coming.
Zendejas, concentrating on the spot, delivers the extra point up and good. Now with 13:06 to play in the first half, it's a 10-3 game Oilers.
Drew Hill right in front of you there. He looks back. Warren Moon throws this ball, and Odoms is right there. But he doesn't see the ball coming in, and therefore he can make no effort to stop the reception. As it is, it goes for 6.
There are about 20 small sedans to choose from out there. But if you're looking for the best value, you can stop right here. The new Mazda 323 SE has a bunch of technical sophistication like fuel injection, a list of standard features that just won't quit, all backed by the best warranty in its class. I'm not kidding. You've got to check out this Mazda 323.
A better economy car value comes from our intense commitment to your total satisfaction. That's the Mazda way.
Okay. All right. I just want to say I'm glad our friends from marketing and accounting can be here with us to share this.
Yeah. Whoa! They're eating all our cake, too.
I know for some of you, I'm just the guy who chose the computers. But what I am proud of is how we've helped each other. Now, everything that Fran's bean counters do helps us. And ditto for Kelly's people in research. But what's important is, it's not just the 3 B's that make us smarter. We make us smarter. Did you see the paper this morning?
Yeah.
This is why we did what we did.
All right.
Why we made the choices we made. Tomorrow, I leave for the West Coast office. They're back where we were a year ago. Now, I hope they're as good as you guys.
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda, bringing performance and value together. That's the Mazda way. By the Stanley Works. Stanley helps you do things right. And by Tandy Computers, because there is no better value, only at Radio Shack.
Back to live action. Rob Riddick returns the Lee Johnson kickoff for Buffalo. He's across the 25 and out close to the 30-yard line. Run out of bounds on the play by Alan Pinkett of Houston. Oilers, though, after a short punt by the Buffalo punter, John Kidd, end up with a 7-play, 45-yard drive. On the payoff end was Drew Hill. 2-yard touchdown pass from Warren Moon, and the Oilers, with 10 unanswered points, have come from behind to take a 10-3 lead. 12 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the first half. Sun now shining brightly. Threat of rain has gone away. Temperature in the mid-60s, and wind, often a factor here in western New York, is not a problem today. Kelly against a rush. Childress is after him. Kelly lets it go. Man is out there. Burkett! He has the ball down to the 24-yard line. Chris Burkett, a big, rangy, speedy receiver who averaged over 22 yards a catch last season, beats Steve Brown, and Jim Kelly throws a perfect ball, 46 yards. It's a first down for Buffalo.
And it starts with good pass protection. They run a game, Houston does, up front. Ray Childress almost gets to Kelly. You'll see him coming from the right. Kelly already showing great presence, steps up and turns it loose. This Kelly guy, with his strength of arm, Marino gets an awful lot of conversation, and Elway gets an awful lot of conversation. This guy's in the same category.
Kelly putting it up again, drills it. Man is a little bit high on Andre Reed. He had a step on the defender. Steve Brown running a post pattern. Andre Reed, a much shorter receiver than Chris Burkett. But it looks, Trump, like Kelly and particularly the Bills coaches who send things down want to open it up against the Oilers. Their defense is tough to sustain a drive against.
You're absolutely correct. And as we documented it to start the ball game, when you have those opportunities, you have to make good on those opportunities. When you get the pass protection, the receiver's got to run the right route, and Kelly's got to throw the ball on the money.
2nd and 10. Handoff. Mueller finds some room, gets inside the 20 and down close to the 19-yard line.
You know, I have a feeling Mueller played at Benedictine. Where was that? Someplace in Kansas. There's about 60,000 people here, and maybe in his career, it might be 10 times as many as he's ever played against or seen watch him play in all the years that he was Benedictine. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
There's a lot of people here.
But he's used to crowds. He's the youngest of 12 children. You know, he's got a good reach.
Dinner table you're talking about. Yeah. Well.
3rd down. A long 5 coming up. Here comes the rush. Kelly jumps it up. Burkett has the ball, and he is down to the 13-yard line. He has a first down for the Bills. Patrick Allen was covering and made the tackle, but Chris Burkett with 2 big catches in this drive. The first for 46 yards, and that one good for a first down.
Again, a great job by Kelly. You'll see Donaldson, the free safety, with a free shot on Kelly. He stands right in there, makes the completion to Burkett. A 6-yard pickup. This comes from Kelly's left, and there was a double blitz here. Donaldson coming from the outside. So far, Buffalo picking it up.
Oilers lead at 10-3. Bills challenging. Here comes Harmon. A big block as Harmon turns the corner and takes on Bostic, who knocks him out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. As we check the scoreboard, it's 10-3 Houston here. Chicago on the Peyton run of a yard. Goes in front of Tampa Bay. Brent Fullwood, a rookie, ran in for the Packer touchdown. Cincinnati leading San Francisco. And the Dolphins, Marino threw 1 touchdown pass up 10-0 in Indianapolis. New Orleans, a team to be reckoned with. A winner on opening day over the tough Cleveland Browns, leading the Eagles in the second quarter 10-0.
Maybe the best defense in the NFC. You believe that? Including the Giants.
Say.
Extraordinary.
High marks. Here is Harmon running the ball, weaving inside. Good defensive play by the Houston backers, who were not overrun. Again, number 54, Al Smith, came over to make the play.
Harmon seemed to slip a little bit. It's rained for about the last 36 hours here in Buffalo. And even though the turf is good, it can still be very slippery. Harmon couldn't quite plant that foot to get upfield. Now a crucial down here.
Very big down. 3rd down and about 6 for the Bills. Ball positioned in close to the Oiler goal line. Kelly
Blitz
against
again.
the big rush is hit by Donaldson, and Kelly goes down at the 22-yard line. Jeff Donaldson, the free safety in his 4th year from Colorado, comes in, and Kelly has now been sacked by the Oilers 3 times. You talked, Bob Trumpy, at the outset of this game about their gambling, blitzing defense. It comes from everywhere, and it has come in successfully from everywhere.
On all 3 sacks now have been on guys unblocked. Donaldson will come from the right. There's pressure everywhere. Decent coverage down the field. And Kelly just doesn't have time to get it off. That's what Jerry Glanville wants his defense to do.
So the Bills are taken out of a touchdown challenge, and now Scott Norwood, who hit from 45 yards out in his first try, will try one from about 38. He's got the distance, and he spins it through. So the place kickers have been perfect. Norwood is 2 for 2, and the Bills cut the Oilers' lead to 10-6. Warren Moon and the Houston offense gets the ball when we come back to Buffalo.
Yeah. Harry, Kalamazoo Tuesday, I can do that. Memphis Wednesday, I can do that. New York Thursday, I can do that. How am I going to do that?
No matter where you do business, Northwest can fly you there.
High-performance luxury sedans traditionally ask you to pay a pretty dear price. Well, that's not the Mazda way. Mazda's all-new 929 has world-class luxury appointments. It's amazingly quiet, solid riding, and actually outperforms those guys. Now there's less standing between you and a car this good. About $8,000 less.
A better luxury car value like this comes from our intense commitment to your total satisfaction. That's the Mazda way.
If you just ask for a light beer,
give me a light.
You never know what you'll get.
Bud Light.
Nice shot.
Heads up.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the fresh name and taste, ask for Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Your face takes enough abuse, so you need the Gillette Good News Plus disposable. Its Lubra-Smooth strip is designed to reduce irritation, so shaving feels so good. Good News Plus.
An American tradition continues when the Tigers face the Blue Jays or the Cardinals meet the Cubs. The memories are waiting next Saturday.
It is now a 10-6 game. The Houston Oilers leading the Bills. Bills just hitting on a field goal by Scott Norwood. A reminder to our viewers that we will be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Oilers have the only touchdown today. That was a short pass from Warren Moon to Drew Hill from 2 yards out. And it gave the Oilers a 10-3 lead. Norwood hits a spinning kickoff downfield, and Alan Pinkett, 5 feet 8, 185 pounds, runs it back for Houston, turns the corner. Pinkett, the all-time leading rusher for Notre Dame, runs it back very well again, out close to the 30-yard line. Ron Pitts, who grew up in Orchard Park and played here in high school and collegiately at UCLA, made the stop. Just 2 weeks to go in the regular baseball season, and pennant fever is heating up. The showdown in the American League East continues when Detroit slugs it out for first place with the Toronto Blue Jays. Others will see the Cardinals try to go hang on to first place in the National League East as they take on the Cubs. It all begins with Major League Baseball, an inside look at 2 o'clock Eastern Time next Saturday here on NBC Sports. Right now, the sun is shining again in Buffalo, and the Houston Oilers are ready to go on offense with Warren Moon at the controls. So far, Trump, he hasn't spread the ball around as much as he usually does.
You're absolutely right. The only wide receiver to catch a pass, Drew Hill, 3 for 30 and a touchdown. Buffalo doing a good job with coverage, and of course, I think that's also a fair amount of respect to one Bruce Smith, not throwing the ball particularly deep.
Houston had a lot of offense in its come from behind win over the Rams last Sunday. Oilers had 400 total yards. The Rams, one of the best teams in the NFL, had just 244. Oilers out first down the Rams 22-13. That is a big league arm, but it's a little bit to the wrong side of Ernest Givens at the 39-yard line.
Same pattern. He's completed it twice to Drew Hill. He tries Givens. It's just a little square in pattern, a 5-step drop timing pass.
9:16 to go in the first half. 10-6 game, the Oilers with the ball and the lead. Mats today are 2 of the 3 quarterbacks that in pro football history have passed for over 5,000 yards in a season. Warren Moon, you're looking at, threw over for 5,600 one year in Canada. Kelly passed over 5,000 in the USFL. Mike Rozier runs the ball on second down and 10 and doesn't get much, and here's a marker down. The 3rd quarterback to pass for over 5,000, the only one to do it in the NFL. The best in the game, Dan Marino of the Dolphins, who threw for a touchdown today as Miami leads 10-0 at Indianapolis.
Flag will be against Houston.
Opening 63 offense. The penalty is declined. It's third down.
Mike Munchak, one of the best in pro football at his position, the left guard for the Oilers, now in his 6th year from Penn State. He's had some injury problems. If you want to see an offensive lineman play like they write it in the book, the textbook of blocking, he doesn't knock him off the ball. He knocks him off the screen sometimes.
When he's healthy, you're right. Watch Smith here, 78.
3rd and 10 Oilers as Moon sets up in the shotgun. Lets a long ball go, and it's well overthrown. Ernest Givens has interfered with a very poor call that'll be overturned. That is a prediction here.
No, they don't. Not on penalties, Don. That's going to be on Mark Kelso.
The ball was overthrown. It was an uncatchable ball, and the hit came after it flew overhead, Trump.
But the instant replay official cannot overrule a penalty. That's not the function. Right. That's not the function of the instant replay. I do believe this is a good call.
I disagree. Overthrown ball.
Because Kelso could see the ball coming in. That's the only reason I say that it's a good call.
Personal foul is the signal. Kelso hurt the Bills badly last week. He hit a player out of bounds. Now everything's coming back from.
Yeah, it's a 15-yard mark-off from the spot of the last play and an automatic first down. But the instant replay official will not overrule any penalty. And I think if we run that replay again, you can see Kelso seeing that ball come in. And I think that's why the official threw the flag.
Well, it was without question an uncatchable ball.
No question about that. Uncatchable.
And that definitely would be the ruling, that he hit him after the play was really completed. Ernest gives him one back. So the Oilers are beneficiaries of a penalty call, a personal foul call. That was on a 3rd and 10 play, so it keeps the drive alive. Moon to Rozier, trying to break through. He does get to the 50. A good game by Mike Rozier for the Oilers. He's ahead for about 6. 7-yard gain. They spot the ball. It's going to be a 4-yard pickup. Game clock running with 8:20 to play in the first half. Gibbons comes to the near flank. He's against the rookie Nate Odoms. And now the give goes back up the middle, and Mike Rozier takes it inside the Bills' 45-yard line. He's down to the 44. It's a first down for Houston. A check of the scoreboard. Cleveland on a field goal has taken a 3-0 lead on the Steelers. Bears lead cut to 7-3 over Tampa Bay. Miami now holding to a 10-7 lead as the Indianapolis Colts have scored a touchdown. 10-6 is the score here. Houston is the leader, and the Oilers, beneficiaries of the penalty call against Buffalo, kept the drive alive. Rozier with the bad hands on that play, looking to run before he got it. He's not the first to do that.
You know that linebacker's out there in your face when you're a back coming out of the backfield. Rozier goes out of the picture to your left. And you know that linebacker's got you in his sights. Shane Conlon, 58, was the closest man. And the best thing to do is catch it quickly. That's when you tend to drop him.
Now 2nd down and 10 comes up for Warren Moon and the Oilers. Ray Wallace broke a big one earlier, remember, that got them down close before they scored their first touchdown. Gets ahead for a 9-yard gain. Now let's go to NFL Live in New York.
All right, Don, Gary Hogaboom back at quarterback for the Colts. Throws 17 yards to Matt Boozer for a touchdown. The Colts have lost 13 straight to the Dolphins, but they're keeping it close today. 10-7. Hey, Don, tell Trump Jimmy Cefalo sends his best.
Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate that. Mike Rozier on the ground. Once again, trying to run inside the pass rush of Bruce Smith and got it done.
We have an Oiler down being attended to. We'll be back to Rich Stadium after this.
Fans, please.
Mr. Garfield, welcome to Embassy Suites Hotel.
My room.
Oh, all our rooms are really 2-room suites for the price of a single room.
Beautiful. Don't change a thing.
The living room, sir.
Love what you've done with this room.
The bedroom.
This is great. I need my space.
And of course, you'll want to take advantage of Embassy Suites free breakfast.
Food.
Served every morning.
At Embassy Suites, you don't have to be a fat cat to enjoy the sweet life.
I resemble that remark.
Stanley. We open doors all across America.
Doors that open wide and welcome you inside. They'd open up to your special day. Doors that get you on your way. Stanley doors for London eyes that bring you in when it's warm and dry.
Stanley Doors for the quality of your life.
Stanley helps you do things right.
There's only one way to appreciate Zenith's 27-inch stereo television with breathtaking sound by Bose. Go hear it. Zenith and Bose. Quality.
And there's never been a better time to go hear it than now. Just trade in your old TV at participating Zenith Bose dealers and get up to $200 off Zenith's 27-inch digital TV with stereo sound by Bose. Offer expires October 31st.
See what a busload of NBC stars did over the summer in an all-new movie. Hit it, boys. If it's Tuesday, it still must be Belgium. Monday.
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at Rich Stadium. Big crowd on hand as the Oilers and the Bills are hooking up. Houston has the only turnover of the game, an interception of Jim Kelly. They subsequently turned into points, and now they've capitalized on a Buffalo defensive back's mistake, a personal foul that kept the drive alive. Bills come a hit, and though their defense fired up. Alan Pinkett got the call, and he does get the first down. A short yardage play. He gained it down to the 33-yard line. McNanny made the knockdown for Buffalo.
Kind of interesting, they take out a 6-foot, 220-pound running back in a short yardage situation and put a 5'8", 180-pound running back in.
He's a player, though. Notre Dame's all-time leading rusher. That says something. Blitz is picked up. Well done by the Oilers, and Givens takes it down. A big hit on him by Derek Burrows. But Ernest Givens, who caught 6 passes for 117 yards last week against the Rams, makes a big play for Houston, and despite the hit, comes back smiling.
Tough little kid. This is an excellent job by Houston, picking up the blitz, recognizing the blitz. The hot receiver is Ernest Givens out to the sideline, and he knows he's going to get shillelagh'd, but hangs onto the football for about an 8-yard pickup.
Only way you can cover Ernest Givens is with a net. End up to Rozier. The yards coming tough, and again he pile drives inside the Bills' 20-yard line, and he gets a Houston first down.
And in my conversation with Marv Levy yesterday, the head coach, director of operations for the Buffalo Bills, this is his worst fear, that this defense is not strong enough yet to stop anybody. When they start a drive, it doesn't seem that Buffalo's able to stop anybody. And of course, that penalty was the thing that extended the drive, and the penalty by Mark Kelso, personal foul, and the Houston Oilers are really in sync right here.
They really are, and that time a trap block sends Rozier shooting up the middle on a first down carry. He's down to the Bills' 13-yard line. Bills had a lot of trouble stopping the run in the preseason, gave up over 5 yards to the average rush of their opponent, and Houston, with a lot of power in its front wall, is pushing the Bills off the ball at the snap.
Time of possession against the Buffalo Bills has been remarkable, absolutely remarkable. And they just don't get Jim Kelly on the field that many times in a football game.
But a personal foul called on an incomplete pass on 3rd and 10 kept this drive alive. Rozier loves to hit, and he does, and he's very close to another Oiler first down. Rozier is down close to the 8-yard line.
Ran right over Lawrence Johnson, the strong safety, put his helmet down and ran right over him. That's one of the big changes mentally about Mike Rozier. He ran over Lawrence Johnson 48. That's Kelso, the free safety, who assisted on the tackle. It was a first down for Houston.
Rozier, with a lot of cutting speed, also has overpowering straight ahead ability. 5'10", 205 pounds. Back to the money, and Rozier takes it into the end zone. Nobody laid a glove on him, and Mike Rozier puts the Oilers in front 16-6 in an 8-yard burst up the middle. Same play, same trap block, and Mike Rozier's in the end zone.
This Houston Oiler offense, an excellent trapping team. They got the defense they want. Sometimes, Don, when the right defense is called for a trap, you pop through there like an ejection seat, and that's what Rozier looked like.
There's another aspect of this game, Trump, that bears notice, that the Oilers aren't making the mistakes the Bills are. Oilers have been a sound team. They haven't turned the ball over in this game. The Bills did. Oilers turned it into points. Bills had a drive stopped on an overthrown ball on 3rd down, but a late hit, a personal foul call kept it alive, and subsequently we see the Oilers go back in the end zone. So Houston, playing much more solid football, gets the extra point up and good by Zendejas with 3:53 to play in the first half. 17-6, Oilers. Rozier, 8 yards, and pick 6 for Houston.
As the years go by, I know I'll always have a friend. Just as long as you stand by me.
For over 100 years, friendships have been formed and kept over the quality beers of Anheuser-Busch.
Darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
There's the score, 17-6. The last 6 points supplied by Mike Rozier right up through the middle. And watch this play. Excellent lead block. Good pressure by the center. Good job by Pennison. And actually, I thought that was a trap because it opened so quickly. It wasn't. It was just a push block.
Here's the kickoff to Riddick, and he starts to come out. Menace counsel don't do it by Ronnie Harmon. And so the Bills will start from their 20. The Oilers just going 72 yards in 13 plays with Rozier on the payoff end from a yard out. As Mojo gets a big hand. The Oiler man who comes out and gets the kicking tee. They hadn't seen him in action in Buffalo before.
Here's Jerry Glanville. Yeah, my ball club's in the end zone. We'll take the points. Now, if you think the Houston Oilers defense was crazy and caused them problems before, with a 17-6 lead, it gets a lot more crazy.
They've already sacked Jim Kelly, have the Oilers, 3 times in the first half. 3:46 to play in the half. 17-6 Houston. Throw and a catch to Burkett, but not for much. Patrick Allen didn't give him anything deep, so Burkett turned out on him, and the play is for a short gain. It does stop the clock with 3:36 to play in the half.
Buffalo needs to get some points before this half. You know my feeling on drives ending halves and starting halves. You got to establish you can get something done. You got to throw it deep here. Give it a shot. Try to get Burkett hoping on the slant again.
Kelly threw 42 times last week against the Bills, completed 25 for over 300 yards. And he's going to have to put it up all the time today if they fall any farther behind. A long lead pass for Burkett. Too much on it. Incomplete. It brings up 3rd down and 8 for the Bills.
That's a good call. The fans here in Rich Stadium don't like that. I think that's a good call by Buffalo. You got to somehow stretch that defense as best you possibly can and hope that your wide receivers can beat that man-on-man coverage. There's Marv Levy, head coach, and as you documented, Ted Marchibroda, the offensive coordinator.
So far, Trump, Jim Kelly has thrown the ball 10 times. He's completed 5 for 77 yards. No touchdowns. The Bills' points all both on field goals. 17-6 game.
Look at that.
1 interception for Kelly.
10 guys up at the line of scrimmage.
Beautiful play by Kelly, but Harmon never looked back. Full rush on Kelly. Stood in the face of it. As you pointed out, the hot receiver's the man who goes to the open area of the field where the blitz comes from, and Kelly put it right to him, and Harmon never looked.
That time, Doug Smith, 99, runs a loop, comes from the right-hand side. See 26, a defensive back coming in there. Harmon just didn't turn around. If he does, it's a completion for a first down.
Kidd hits a punt not very deep. Coming up to field the ball. There's Curtis Duncan, the rookie, who is back to the 42-yard line.
Last week now when the Bills played the Jets got the ball after the Bills tried a 4th down and 3 and didn't make it. Got the ball with about 1 minute and 35 seconds left to go. Got the ball in the end zone. That's just a 36-yard punt and a 1-yard return. Houston again with great field position.
Stay tuned for NFL Live at halftime with Frank DeFord's essay and all of the latest scores and highlights. Coming up next, we have 2:50 to play in the first half here at Orchard Park, New York. Oilers in command 17-6, and Warren Moon looking for more. Throw and a catch over the middle down to the 46-yard line of Buffalo. Oh, another beautifully completed play, but there is a marker down.
Well, they got that play down, Don.
Pass complete to Gibbons. Yeah.
That's 2 to Hill, and that's 2 to Gibbons on exactly the same play. Just a timing pass to the wide receiver who runs a square in. You got a legal procedure against Houston. Buffalo will take the penalty. It'll be 1st and 15. Somehow they got to change up their coverages there. It's been predictable on first downs. Ernest Givens, the receiver.
So he's done wrong today.
Yes, he has.
He's done a lot right.
Wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't come back with the same play. Buffalo's not come close to stopping that one yet.
Givens was a second-round draft choice a year ago out of Louisville. Dwight Gooden struck him out twice in a high school game, and he decided to concentrate on football. His father spent time in the Indians organization. Ernest Givens. Here's a quick throw. Big arm by Moon, but again, he's to the wrong side. Coming off the flank on the far side of the field was Willie Drury. Running a pattern for the first time, and it's now going to be second down at about 16. Bills scored first in this game on a 45-yard Scott Norwood field goal. Oilers came back down the field, and Zendejas hit from 52 yards out. Then the Oilers, on a sustained drive, took it in. A 2-yard touchdown pass from Moon to Drew Hill made it 10-3. Bills got another field goal from Norwood. It was 10-6, and then after the mistake by the Buffalo safety that kept the drive alive, a personal foul call, Oilers went 72 yards, and they now lead 17-6 as they go to the run on second and long. Rozier runs it. Darryl Talley knocked him down. Game clock down to 2:11. Looks like Buffalo. Trump called a timeout.
Well, they want to try to stop the clock so they can force a punt and have time left to get some points at the end of the first half. Not bad thinking. Let's hope it works that way.
So we'll check the scoreboard while there's a timeout on the field with the Oilers in the lead here, 17-6 over the Bills. Cleveland still holding to a 3-0 lead over arch rival Pittsburgh. Miami's extended its lead now to 16-7 after leading 10-7. Atlanta, humiliated last week at Tampa Bay, has come back to tie the Redskins in the second quarter, and the Eagles have come from 10 points down to tie New Orleans. One question the Oilers hope to answer, Trump, is how they respond after an opening day win. They've won their first game the last 3 years. In fact, last season, I think, lost their next 8. Closed strong. Right now, they're standing tall. There's a lot of people in that American Conference, scouting staff, some other teams, that think this is a real contender, Houston.
This team has got so many first-round draft choices, it's not even worth trying to name them. It'll take you all day. And they have talent and a great defense.
On the field today are 6 first-rounders, 6 second-rounders, and 7 third-rounders. Team built on the draft. Rozier gets the option pitch back. And he's out to the 50-yard line, stays in bounds, and the clock runs. It'll go down to the 2-minute warning.
Mark Kelso that time on the tackle on the pitch by Warren Moon, a triple option.
So the 2-minute warning is given. A timeout on the field with Houston in the lead, 17-6. We'll be back in a moment.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. In a career that spanned 4 decades, this old warrior is perhaps best remembered as a kicker. But he led the NFL in pass completions in 1953 and the AFL from 63 through 65. Who was this legend?
In the past 2 years, 500,000 more Americans switched to Liberty Mutual for their auto, home, and life insurance. More Americans are living in homes, getting into cars, and for workers' compensation, more American workers are insured by Liberty Mutual than anyone else. Because Liberty Mutual people do the job right.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
With the Bears, Colts, Oilers, and Raiders, George Blanda's rifle-like arm and accurate toe made him a legend of the game.
Strenuous testing like this has led Mazda to have so much confidence in their cars and trucks that they've got a new bumper-to-bumper warranty for 36 months or 50,000 miles. I'd say that's doing things the Mazda way.
A better warranty like this comes from our intense commitment to your total satisfaction. That's the Mazda way.
Oh, it's not just human nature, this need to race the wind. But unfortunately, man cannot fly. Oh, but horses do.
From behind the defense, we'll watch that last play. Rozier certainly used to having the ball pitched to him. McNanny, 95, bites inside. Rozier runs that sweep on the pitch from the quarterback, but not enough for a first down.
So the drive stalls. That hasn't happened for a while as Rozier gets some rest on the sideline, and on the field to punt is Johnson. Bill setting up an 10-man rush. One man's back. High snap. Here they come. He got a piece of the ball, it looked like. It's a very short kick, and it'll be down by the Oilers at the Bills' 25-yard line. So the Bills came right up the gut. Lee Johnson looking to block the punt. It looked, Trump, like somebody got a piece of it. It was only a 25-yard punt.
I think it was Steve Tasker who got his hand on it, and I frankly don't know how he missed it. 89 will be flying right across the front. That's 89 Steve Tasker. I don't know how he missed that ball completely. Ends up being 25-yard punt. It ends up being.
Oilers running the ball well today. They have 101 yards here in the first half. Bills have run for 62. Jim Kelly 5 for 11 so far. That one interception was expensive. Here's a throw and a catch to Riddick as the Oiler defense gives up the short yardage play to the back coming out. Game clock are very much a factor now as you see it ticking down into the 130s in the first half. 17-6 Houston. Big rush. Kelly eludes it for the moment. Throwing on the run. He throws a completion for a first down.
As Jim Kelly is a hard guy to get in the grasp and control of a defensive lineman. He's so big and strong. That time there was plenty of pressure all over him. William Fuller had him, but he got away.
Bills right into formation now. Swing pass goes out. Riddick will take it to the sideline, puts a move on and dances out of bounds at the 40. But the play was only good for a 2-yard gain. It did stop the clock with 70 ticks left in the first half. Let's go back now, Trump, a couple of plays and check out Jim Kelly under the rush.
Once again, you'll see the pressure by Fuller, 95, and also Childress is the guy who gets a hold of him. But he is a big, strong kid, that Jim Kelly is. Great legs for a football player, can stand in there, and Childress couldn't get him on the ground.
The other thing Jim Kelly has is the heart of a lion. He's not afraid. You can't be in this league. Second down and 8. Kelly fires, strike to Burkett. He's down to the 41-yard line of the Oilers.
Now take the tie. Yeah, that's it. Good job. Kelly signals for a timeout on long completions. You want to stop that clock because it'll take your team an awful long time to assemble 19 yards down the field. Set your offense again. Kelly again steps up in the pocket. He looks around the field, see if he can read the coverage. Right on the money. Burkett makes a nice catch and knows he's going to get Shillelagh. Grimsley hits him, but a 19-yard pickup.
Burkett now has caught 3 passes from Kelly in the first half for almost 60 yards. Stay tuned for NFL Live at halftime. Bob, Ahmad, and Paul and Frank standing by in New York as the second Sunday of play could be the last for a while. Players threatening to go out. There's been a lot of additional concerns for the Oilers in that organization. Threat of a strike that every team has, the possibility of a move to Jacksonville. I'm not saying Jacksonville doesn't deserve a pro football franchise, but I know that the fans of Houston don't deserve to lose one.
$115 million guaranteed by Jacksonville. That's tough to turn down.
I say they're not going.
Houston hopes you're right.
Big rush. Kelly in trouble, and he's sacked. Coming hard was outside linebacker Robert Lyles. Number 93 of Robert Lyles. Coach Jerry Glanville says he's not fast enough, he's not big enough, he's not strong enough, but when you add it all together and check everything out, he's the best linebacker we've got.
Don, once again, that's the 4th sack of the day for the Houston Oilers, and 4 times the sacker's been unblocked. That's exactly the design of the Jerry Glanville defense, going back to the Atlanta Falcons back in the late 70s. I watched Lyles, 93, come through here. No, you see Harmon about to step out. He's apparently the guy that's responsible for Lyles, but only gets a little portion of him, and Lyles Shillelagh is the $8 million Buffalo quarterback. rattles his head on the turf. You get up with some cobwebs and say, Harmon, Ronnie Harmon, that's your guy. Make sure you pick him up next time.
Kelly Trump throwing the ball well. He's completed 9 of 15 for 111 yards.
That one interception, though,
was expensive.
Yes, it was.
So now with the ball positioned at the Bills' 46-yard line, second down arises in 23. Big penalty.
Showing blitz again here, Don. Look at that. 10 guys up at the line of scrimmage, and they drop off.
Kelly stands in, fires it downfield to the 40-yard line. Was it a reception? Official comes in and rules it came in on the one hop to Trumaine Johnson. So the clock is now stopped with 52 seconds to play in the first half. The Oilers continue to lead the game 17-6. The Bills, who've had some expensive mistakes here in the first half, and the Oilers have been a big part of those mistakes happening. Bills trying to get something up before halftime as a bright sun now shines through the clouds. Overcast day and a distinct threat of rain. In fact, rained rather hard this morning. Kelly on 3rd and 23. Gets some time this time. Marker down at the line of scrimmage as Kelly lets her fly, and he throws a strike down to the 32-yard line, very close to a first down, but there is a marker down.
Don, I think that's going to be against Houston. I think that's defensive holding, which would be an automatic first down. Houston just made a giant mistake to extend a drive by the Buffalo Bills. Now the Bills have to take this penalty in my estimation. It's going to cost them a lot of yards, but I think it'll give them a first down.
I think you are right.
And Kelly's talking to Tom Dooley there to decide exactly what's going to happen. I think he's got to take the penalty because it gives him the first down. If he takes it right where it is, it looks like it's going to be 4th down at about 2.5 or 3.
Breaking the action. Our producer today for NBC Sports is David Stern. Our director, Brian Sheriff. There have been a couple of big plays in this game.
29 defense.
And that's the first major
First
mistake
down
by the Oilers. They got Allen on the hole. Patrick Allen, a 4th-year player from Utah State. So the Bills will have the play come back. They had the big gainer on the pass, but now they get first down.
Yeah, 39 seconds left. They only get 5 yards on that penalty, but the first down is what they're interested in because that was 3rd and 23.
One thing, Trump, that's very apparent about the Buffalo passing game under Marcia Broda, he wants Kelly in the pocket. A couple of times Kelly had room to sprint out, but he wants his quarterback in the pocket. And the Oilers have really put the heat on the pocket and Kelly with 4 sacks in the first half. Game clock down to 36. Kelly throws a strike to Riddick, turns upfield, looks for the sidelines, and he didn't get there. So he gambled, got a few yards, but it was expensive.
There's a coaching point for you. You don't struggle for inches in the final 30 seconds of the half. You try to save seconds.
Kelly throws the ball down. He can do that, not grounding. It stops the clock, and Jim Kelly not happy with the decision by his running back at trying to turn it upfield but staying inbound.
That's exactly why you throw the ball to the sideline. And I repeat, in the closing stages of a half or a football game, when you're trying to drive, you don't try for inches. You try to save seconds. Always get out of bounds. And Riddick does a good job. Kelly's looking at him all the way. He throws it out there because he's the closest man to the sideline. And then he realizes, oh no, I got to get out of bounds, and doesn't. It cost the Bills another timeout.
And a very good tackling job done by Robert Lyles, who came across to make the stop inbounds.
Offsides Houston.
Burkett comes down with the ball at the 16-yard line with 15 seconds to play.
That's a great catch.
Bills are out of timeouts, though, and there's a penalty marker down on the field, and there's also the player down. Chris Burkett, who made another big catch, that one for 22 yards.
Now the clock is stopped because of the penalty, but this catch they'll take. Well, you don't want to ever wipe a catch like this off of the books. Watch this. He goes up, knows he's going to get hammered, hangs on. Audrey McMillan on the hit. Wow.
He could be on his way to a career game. Burkett with 5 catches for 95 yards.
And the estimation of the officials, if they feel that the player is legitimately hurt, they'll call a timeout and then start the clock as soon as he gets up. Watch this catch, though. He goes up, knows the guy's there, hangs on. What Jim Kelly should do would be, in my estimation, to get his team to the line of scrimmage, because as soon as they... Here's Tom Dooley. In one play. Oh. Okay. Okay, no jeopardy here because of the penalty on the defense.
As the old saying goes, they love a gambler until he uses. No pun intended with Kelly being a former gambler, but does he go over the middle now and shoot for the end zone with no timeouts? That's going to be a lot more open than the side.
Well, what's going to happen here is Houston's going to come with a blitz, I would bet. And I think the middle of the field is the spot that will be open. Watch the blitz.
15 seconds to go in the half. Kelly looks, fires for the end zone. Marker's down. It's overthrown to Andre Reed. Is it a holding call against the Bills? Marker down in the Buffalo backfield. It's against the Oilers. Kelly's clapping. Another holding call against Houston. But the game clock is down to 10 seconds, so Kelly will probably throw once more. If he doesn't get it in, they'll go to the field goal. You have to wonder, watching the way they've marched down the field with this drive, whether they won't go to just to a wide open offense against Houston in the second half.
They call it on Doug Smith, illegal use of the hands, and that's generally to the face of an offensive lineman. You're right, Don, but you got to also take into account the defense that Houston's playing. At this point on the field, pretty much of a prevent. I'm beginning to believe that the prevent defense prevents only one thing.
Winning, huh?
No, yeah. You score later as opposed to scoring now. That's what it prevents.
One of the biggest plays of the half right now. 10 seconds to play in the first half. Here's the blitz. Kelly throws. A man is open. It's a touchdown for Buffalo. 11 yards and a touchdown. Coming off the flank was Rob Riddick out of the backfield. And Kelly leads him beautifully. And Riddick, who scored 2 touchdowns last week, makes the play of the day for Buffalo, a diving reception to get them back in the game.
Keith Bostic was the closest man in coverage, and Don, that's the first time today Buffalo has picked up the free safety, Jeff Donaldson, who was on a blitz. They pick him up, and if you can pick up that blitzer, now you got somebody open somewhere, and Jim Kelly found Rob Riddick.
Been a heck of a half of football, and another one to come after NFL Live. Extra point attempt with 6 seconds to play in the half, up and good. So the Oilers are going to crack at running one back. Watch this play.
Watch the left side of the screen. You'll see Jeff Donaldson come out of the left side of the screen. Where is he? He's picked up. No, he blitzed inside. He's picked up. And that's the first time in the first half that they've done that. Bostic got caught up in the wash. Buffalo learned. They figured out a way to get it done. There's Donaldson, 31. He couldn't quite get to Kelly to force the quick throw. Riddick finds the end zone. Buffalo back in the ball game.
It's a 17-13 game as the Bills get their first touchdown on a Jim Kelly touchdown pass. It's 4th of the season.
Watch this again. Watch Donaldson. See him down here at the bottom? They got 3 defensive backs blitzing. They push him outside just enough that Kelly's got time, and Riddick runs a great pattern, and Bostic just can't catch up to the receiver. 6 points.
So under the gun with very little time left, the Bills go down the field 75 yards in 9 plays. Very big play on that drive, you remember, was the 21-yard throw to Chris Burkett, who has caught 5 passes in the first half for almost 100 yards. And then the Bills got their first touchdown on that swing pass from Kelly into the end zone to Rob Riddick.
Oilers expecting an onside kick here. They have their hands team up, Don.
Good hands people out there. Willie Drury's the one deep man, number 82. Bounces one downfield. Here comes Drury. Downed at the 30. And that'll do it for the first half of play. So the Bills get an ovation from following here that was a little disquieted by some mistakes they made. But the Oilers on the road, where they've had so many troubles in the recent years, go to the locker room, the leader, by a 17-13 lead. NFL Live is coming up next. We'll be back right after this. It's the Oilers 17 and the Bills 13.
I'm proud of you.
Tonight, it's an all-new Family Ties.
It's hot off the press.
Last week, you made Family Ties America's #1 show.
Ooh. Yeah.
Then People magazine calls My Two Dads the best new series of the season.
I think we're Father of the Year.
It's a great new night.
Come home tonight.
Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me.
They call New York the communications capital of the world. And whether it's data that banks use, television news, or stock market reports, it all travels on the telephone lines of New York Telephone, the communications company that New York depends on.
Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me.
The network of New York Telephone, the power behind the phone.
Start saving with Merchant's new Prime account, and your money comes alive. Prime account is always adjusted to 75% of Merchant's prime rate. High interest, living with Prime, staying high, never missing a beat. Minimum deposit only $1,000 for 1 year, and $100 or more anytime. Plus, you can withdraw interest monthly. New Prime account, high interest savings. Its reason for living is keeping the goal-oriented saver fiscally fit. Only at Merchant's Bank.
The Judge, weekdays at 5:30 on Channel 3.
And welcome back to our studios in New York. Bob Costas along with Paul McGuire and Ahmad Rashad. A check on the scoreboard. Cleveland playing at home against Pittsburgh, and the score there 10-3 in favor of the Browns. The last time Pittsburgh won at Cleveland was back in 1981. Chicago has just gone to halftime at home against Tampa Bay. They have scoring runs from Walter Payton and Neil Anderson. Anderson, of course, on the horizon as perhaps the next great Chicago running back. Anderson's TD was a 27-yarder. Payton's a 1-yard plunge. For Payton, the 107th rushing touchdown of his career. He breaks Jimmy Brown's all-time record in that category. Green Bay playing at home against Denver. The game some of you are watching. Denver with the late field goal to close the margin to 14-3. A week from now, is this all we'll see in NFL stadiums? Talented dogs filling the emptiness? Who knows? Meanwhile, the Broncos have to worry about the 4 turnovers they were guilty of in the first half. Here's rookie Ricky Nattiel fumbling. Tiger Green recovers the bobbled punt, and Green Bay capitalizes with Brent Fullwood going over from 3 yards out to cap the drive, and they led 7-0 in the first quarter. Moving to the second quarter, here's Don Majkowski out of Virginia, their 10th round draft choice, the rookie quarterback, with his first ever NFL touchdown pass to Paul Ott-Caruth. It was 14-0 at that point. It became 14-3 after the field goal late in the second quarter. Cincinnati is playing at San Francisco, and the Bengals just got a field goal from Jim Breach. Did I say at San Francisco? That game is in Cincinnati. In any case, Jim Breach just kicked a field goal with 2 seconds to play until halftime, and Cincinnati ups their lead to 20-7. Boomer Esiason threw a 46-yard touchdown pass to Rodney Holman. Joe Montana, 38 yards to Mike Wilson for the sole score for San Francisco in that game. So the Niners lost last week at Pittsburgh, and they are losing at Cincinnati in week 2.
You know, just looking at the Niners the last 2 weeks, the offensive line just not doing the job. Montana has to have time to throw. He's got some great receivers, but unless you have time to throw the football, you can't get it there.
You picked San Francisco and Kansas City to make it to the Super Bowl.
I may regroup right after the strike.
As a lot of people will. Miami is playing at Indianapolis. The Colts have lost 13 consecutive games to the Dolphins, the longest such streak active in the league. Here is Don Shula, who is the winningest coach in both Colt history and Dolphin history. His team led 10-0 when Gary Hogeboom got Indy on the board with this 17-yarder nice catch by Matt Booza, and it cut it to 10-7. But Dan Marino has thrown 2 touchdown passes. This is his second of the day, and it's caught by the ever-versatile Jim Jensen, who is their 4th-string quarterback. He tumbles in for the 6-yarder, Marino's second scoring throw of the game. He has thrown 5 touchdown passes already this season. Washington is at Atlanta. Doug Williams has thrown a TD pass for the Redskins in relief of Jay Schrader. Scott Campbell has a 19-yarder for Atlanta. They're even up at 7 coming up to halftime in that one. Houston and Buffalo, they have gone to halftime at Rich Stadium, and the Oilers, who have lost 33 of their last 36 on the road, have Jerry Glanville and company in front, 17-13. Warren Moon with this 2-yarder in the second quarter to Drew Hill, and at that point, Houston had a 10-3 lead. They've sacked Jim Kelly 4 times in the first half, including this one as Jeff Donaldson got in from his defensive backs position, knocking Kelly's helmet loose and pushing Buffalo back to where they had to be denied a touchdown and settled for a field goal. Then Mike Rozier went to work on the subsequent possession, and he goes in from 8 yards out. He had better than 70 yards and a touchdown in the first half, and you remember last week against the Rams, Rozier accounted for 90-plus yards, the best game of his NFL career. And Philadelphia at home has the lead on the Saints 17-10 with a 17-point second quarter, including 2 Randall Cunningham touchdown passes, one to Mike Quick, another to Kenny Jackson. Stay with us. We'll continue on NFL Live following these messages from your local stations.
The new season begins Tuesday.
Roger Springfield and Steve Schnall, Channel 3 Sports.
Midas introduces its new muffler, the Midasizer. Midas quality and reliability. Now for only $29.95, and it's guaranteed for as long as you own your car.
Go, he's got it through, he's got it through. Drop it. All right, it's a pass and a win, all right.
Sports Bet, the football game. Buy one today and get the basketball edition free.
Divorce Court, weekdays at 4:30 on Channel 3.
Welcome back to NFL Live. I'm Bob Costas, and as always, at halftime, we're joined by Frank DeFord. And as you might suspect, his subject today, the impending NFL strike. As we all know, there are dozens of issues on the bargaining table. But as we also know, when you boil it all down, there's just one that remains of paramount importance, both practically and emotionally. Frank?
Free agency, of course, and every professional American sports league denies unqualified free agency. But the NFL is much more restrictive than either baseball or basketball. An arbitrator will hand down his decision tomorrow, judging whether baseball owners have been in collusion in these matters, and the NBA Players Association is demanding total free agency. By comparison, the NFL is in the 19th century. In any way, it is becoming more and more fashionable for constitutional authorities to maintain that it's downright un-American for any athlete to work where he doesn't want to. But in fact, professional athletes are not unique. In many specialized fields of employment, say the State Department, the choices are slim. And as the federal judge pointed out last year in the USFL suit, it's not the NFL's fault that it's the only football league around. Unlike baseball and unlike basketball, the NFL is not a true free market. All the teams share equally in television revenue. Sellouts are almost guaranteed because few games are played and it's a season ticket sport. Losers are not financially penalized, nor are winners rewarded. In baseball and in basketball, bad franchises suffer in the marketplace, and thus bad owners are driven out of the game. But in the NFL, failure is institutionally protected, and a player unlucky enough to be drafted out of college by someone like Irsay, Bidwell, or Rankin Smith is stuck forever, his whole career, in some pigskin black hole. And that is why, if anything, the NFL should naturally offer more, not less free agency. Limited free agency is nothing for competent franchises to fear. If after 4 years a football organization or a host community cannot convince a player that it's to his benefit to stay there, then that team really doesn't deserve to keep the young man. Now, some people say that Pete Rozelle should step in and help settle the mess. I say that the commissioner had almost 30 years to straighten out the constitution of the National Football League, to bring an essentially socialistic organization kicking and screaming into the free market. Limited free agency does not threaten the well-being of the league, especially in a sport where so many players are involved. It's nothing like basketball, where losing one star can turn a whole franchise upside down. In football, limited free agency can only threaten those organically incompetent franchises that cannot compete successfully on their own without Big Brother to help them. Well, that's the issue. With me is Stan White, who was on the executive committee of the Players Union in 1982 when the league had its strike. Stan, let's talk a minute about personalities. Gene Upshaw and Jack Donlin were both around in '82, Gene in a subsidiary role at that time. Do you think that Donlin's departure from the negotiations in 1982 brought on the settlement?
Oh, I definitely think you do. You need somebody at the table that has a stake. You got to remember, this is Jack Donlin's only job. This is a win or lose situation for him, and he's afraid to lose. There's nobody there that's really going to negotiate, give any give and take, and that's why when Dan Rooney got to the table and had some stake in the action, he wanted to get the thing resolved because the season was at stake.
Can't you say that the same thing applies to Gene Upshaw?
Well, not really, because Gene has to run the union for 5 years to the next bargaining agreement. He has to run the grievances. He's got 25% new players every year that he's got to re-educate. The owners are the same, year in, year out.
Is Upshaw at a disadvantage because, in effect, he's a rookie, at least in running the negotiations?
Well, you could look at it that way, but really, he's been around a long time. He played for 16, 17 years. He was a president. He was a president also. He's in the union as an executive committee member before that. So he's paid his dues. He's been there. He knows where all the dead bodies are.
The question of how faithful, how loyal the players will be when it really gets tough, when those contracts, the money doesn't come in. Do you believe that the players will remain faithful?
Well, I do believe that. I think that, I didn't believe it at first. I thought they were not nearly as intense as they were in 1982. But I think management has backed them up so far in the corner that they're going to fight. They've said to you can't go anywhere, you're not going to get any free agency despite what the other sports have. Now they're going to got them in a position where they got to fight back, and they're going to stick together. There may be some defections, but when you got 1,500 players, you're going to have a few that are going to go their own way.
If they do you think those players will receive the kind of retribution on the field that can be a little painful?
Well, you'd like to think they wouldn't, but let's live in the real world. Of course there's retributions on the football field all the time for past acts against you that may have been years ago. You wait to get a guy back, and I'm sure that that'll happen if some of the players break ranks.
Thank you very much, Stan. And stay tuned. Our halftime activities will resume in just a few moments.
He was my little brother, and I tried to teach him all I could. But you know, I learned a lot from him.
She was my big sister, and no doubt about it, she was tough. But now I know why. It's because she really loved me.
He had this big dream to play for the National Football League someday. And I told him, right, Steve, you got 2 chances, little and none.
She was always dressing up and playing make-believe. And I thought to myself, Olivia become an actress? Well, today, she's a star of Miami Vice.
Today, my little brother, Steve, is a star cornerback for the NFL's Houston Oilers. And he's still my little brother, but the love that we have for each other is very important to us.
And that same love is what these folks are all about. They're all big brothers and big sisters to these children.
And with your support of the United Way, it's made the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program become possible. Whether it's in Houston or in Miami, the United Way is there. Yay!
United Way. It brings out the best in all of us. This message furnished by the National Football League.
Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. This is Don Criqui with Bob Trump. He scored halftime. The Houston Oilers 17, the Buffalo Bills 13. Been a good football game. There's been some mistakes, Trump, but there's been a lot of action. I think we're going to see a lot of balls in the air in the second half.
Yeah, you're right. Each team has taken advantage of the other's mistake. The penalty on Kelso that extended the drive for Houston resulted in points. The penalty on Houston in the latter stages of the first half resulted in points for Buffalo. I think Buffalo has figured a little bit out of the defense that Houston is running. So with that, they can build on something to do for the second half. For the Houston Oilers, they're not really playing their kind of game, but I got to remind everybody that last week against the Los Angeles Rams, they struggled for 3 quarters and got those 3 big turnovers in the 4th quarter and really ran all over Los Angeles.
Yeah, and upsetting the Rams a week ago, the Oilers scored 17 points and shut out the Rams over the last 15 minutes. In fact, Houston was down, 16-3 with 7:40 left to play in that game. A very important aspect of the Oilers' improved play is the pass rush. It's coming a lot of different ways. In the first half today, they've sacked Jim Kelly 4 times. If that continues to happen, Houston wins the football game.
Well, you're right, Don. There's no way to get around it. And the other point to make about that pass rush is that the 4 sacks that Houston has gotten today, all 4 times the player making the sack was totally untouched. So, and that's the design of the Houston Oilers defense. They want to try to free somebody up to get in there on a quarterback and turn them loose.
Does the Oiler offense look a lot different to you?
Not really, because Buffalo, I think, has done a great job on the outside receivers. Givens and Drew Hill have both caught passes on the same pass play about 4 or 5 times. So you can see Warren Moon's numbers, just 11 pass attempts in the first half. Not quite the way Houston likes to run its offense, but nevertheless, when you're ahead, you're going to change your mind a little bit as to what you're going to do offensively.
Warren Moon and the Oilers get the ball to start the third quarter. This kickoff is brought to you by Budweiser.
Take it back deep for Houston.
Alan Pinkett across the 20 and the 30 and out to the 33-yard line. So the Oilers get relatively good field position to start the third quarter. Mitch Farrat was down to make the play for the Bills.
Buffalo with the overall lead in total yards gain. The difference is the 1 turnover by the Bills and the 4 sacks that have been collected by the Houston Oilers. Time of possession pretty even. And actually, the Buffalo Bills defense has done a pretty good job. They have been able to slow Houston down, stop them on 1 drive at the end of the second half, end of the first half, the second quarter. Those numbers are relatively close.
Most impressive drive, without question, Trump, had to be that drive by the Bills, 75 yards and just under 2 minutes to score before halftime. Get him back in the game. Here's Rozier running hard on a first down carry. He's out to the 38-yard line. Picking his way inside backer Eugene Marv got him.
Excuse me, Rozier in the first half, 70 yards rushing, a 4.3-yard average. That's pretty impressive, and that's a nice weapon for the Houston Oilers to go to consistently.
Warren Moon, Trump, had an interesting observation after the win over the Rams. He said, we stayed aggressive against L.A. If something didn't work, we came right back and tried it again. In the past, we wouldn't have done that. Oilers a more confident team, and now they run the ball again. Second down carry, needing a long 3 to get there. Rozier's across the 40. Be third down in less than 2. Shane Conlon was on the stop for the Bills. Number 58, Shane Conlon, the first-round draft choice, 8th player picked in round 1. Front 3, Bruce Smith, Fred Smerlas, and Sean McNanny. Bruce Smith, the right defensive end, double-teamed every play. He has 1 sack today and a lot of pressures. That time they pile drive him. He gets pancaked and taken out, but Conlon fills nicely. And the knockdown is made on 3rd and short, so the Oilers send out their punt team.
Good job also by Ray Bentley. Little linebacker number 50 really stuffed the hole. Conlon came from behind to make that tackle. Very interesting here that Buffalo scores in their last possession of the first half. Stop Houston on their first possession of the second half. That's a great psychological lift.
Ron Pitts is back now for the Bills. Ball well hit downfield by Lee Johnson. It goes in. What a shot. It'll come out on a touchback. In swift pursuit of the ball, trying to down it, but unable to get to it, was Richard Johnson. 59-yard punt by Lee Johnson. Now the Bills go on offense with Jim Kelly at quarterback. His main receiver today has been Chris Burkett, a 6'4" wide receiver from Jackson State with 5 receptions for 95 yards in the first half.
Matter of fact, he's the only wide receiver with a catch for Buffalo. He has 5. Riddick has 4. Harmon has 3.
Good point. Can't get to it at the 50. Very nearly a big hit. Nice play, though, by this rookie, Al Smith. He's an impressive player from Utah State. The 6th-round draft choice who's worked right in as a starter. He was stride for stride with Harmon on the pass coverage.
That's at 235 pounds, too. You'll see Houston put cornerbacks in single coverage and linebackers covering running backs 30 and 40 yards down the field. And Jerry Glanville doesn't seem to mind. He hopes the pass rush gets to the quarterback before the guy has a chance to complete it.
So the Bills try to hit big on first down. Now they come to 2nd and 10. Swing pass, blocker in front, big block. Harmon turns the corner, dives ahead to the 27-yard line. Tenacious defense by the Oilers, though. Al Smith again on the play. Grimsley in pursuit.
7 yards.
A gain of 7. It could have gone a lot farther than that. Well conceived play, though, by the Bills.
Yeah, this is a nice call, too. When you're getting a fair amount of pass rush, a nice little screen out there can slow that pass rush down. You see 99 Doug Smith coming from the nose tackle, and he just kind of trips up Ronnie Harmon, and then Grimsley in to make the tackle.
Smith on the play also after he was blocked. Kelly can't get there. He tries to run it. It will go as a sack. William Fuller flushed Kelly and knocked him down. 5 sacks today for the Oiler defense. The drive is stopped, and the Oilers are going to get good field position.
Intended receiver was Andre Reed. Ran a short pattern over the middle, but with good coverage. Kelly again was about to throw it, takes it back down, and there you see the sack. William Fuller.
Curtis Duncan, the rookie return man for Houston, standing back at his 43. Pretty well hit ball. Duncan moves over, fields at the 44, and he's down there. Tasker was down on special teams. So the Oilers, holding to a 17-13 lead, get their second possession of the third quarter after a 36-yard punt by John Kidd. 12:29 to play in the third quarter.
Make you smile. Have you driven a Ford? Winning the world over. A special look, you're moving in style. Have you driven a Ford lately? Giving it all you've got. You're moving ahead.
Snake River, Wyoming and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Snake River means fly fishing for lunker cutthroat trout. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place. And Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Fellas, it just doesn't get any better than this.
Today's game is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by IBM.
Don Criqui with Bob Trumpy back at Buffalo. The Oilers have the ball for the second time in the third quarter. 17-13 score, same as it was at halftime. Gibbons on the near flank. Drew Hill on the top as Warren Moon takes a look at Gibbons going for the distance. It's going to be too long. Stride for stride with Ernest Gibbons was cornerback Derek Burrows, who was a #1 draft choice out of Memphis State 3 years ago. The pennant races continue on this second Sunday of the NFL season. In the American League East, it's the Tigers and the Blue Jays contending for a division title. Toronto leading the Yankees 2-0 in the 5th inning. Milwaukee out in front of the Tigers at Detroit. Mets lead Pittsburgh 2-1 in the 5th. Phillies up on Montreal. Second and 10 for Warren Moon and the Oilers. Bruce Smith eludes the block and hits 220-pound Ray Wallace head on. Second-year running back from Purdue. Bears still leading. Now Green Bay's lead cut to 14-10 over the Denver Broncos. The Bengals are rolling against the 49ers, who were beaten on opening day at Pittsburgh. Philadelphia's has 17 unanswered points against New Orleans to come from 10-0 behind to a 17-10 lead. 3rd and 10. Throwing a catch and a drop. Good defensive play by Derek Burrows. Coming off the flank was the rookie Curtis Duncan. Derek Burrows stripped him of the ball, and so the Bills will get it back on another John Kidd punt. Another Lee Johnson punt.
And you make the point. I think Derek Burrows knocked that ball right out of the receiver's hand. That's an excellent defensive play, and another 3 downs and out now for the Houston Oilers.
Lee Johnson, who kicked for a national championship team at BYU, gets a high snap, but the big rush was not on. A line drive kick, and here comes Pitts with room to run it back. 25, 30. He's to the 35-yard line. Big ovation from a big crowd. The Bills will go on offense there. 1st down and 10. Eric Fairs came down to make the play for Houston. So Johnson, under the rush, did get it away, but the Bills will get good field position when we come back.
Alaskan king crab from Glacier Bay and the great taste of Old Milwaukee beer.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place and Old Milwaukee beer.
Hey guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Last year, Allstate paid to repair or rebuild over 600,000 homes
Leave it to the good hands, people.
and over 1 million cars. All told, we spent over $20 million a day restoring the important things in our customers' lives.
Leave it to us to help protect what's important to you.
Your hopes and schemes, your plans and dreams. Leave it to the good hands, people. You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
For every number flashing by on the ticker, there's a buyer and a seller who found each other. Chicago pork bellies get an offer from London. Swiss francs are picked up in Dallas. How do traders keep up with it? They use a communication system from Contel. If it doesn't work, they don't work. That's why 4 out of 5 major trading firms depend on technology from Contel. For Contel, I'm Charlton Heston.
I've tried it. Now I believe it. Denorex Tingles tells me it's doing more. Head and Shoulders, no tingle.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denorex adds both an extra anti-itch medicine and conditioner, too.
Goodbye, Head and Shoulders. Hello, Denorex.
An American tradition continues when the Tigers face the Blue Jays or the Cardinals meet the Cubs. The memories are waiting next Saturday.
At the beginning of this ball game, Don, we documented the fact that Houston's defense was very good against opponents' quarterbacks, allowing just 46% completion last year. To this point in the ball game, Jim Kelly has completed 59%.
Jim Everett only had 34% a week ago for the Rams. Here's a handoff to Harmon. Blocker in front. Jim Richard cuts down a tackler, and then a punishing hit put on by the Houston defense. Short gain on the play. Now while we have a moment, let's go to NFL Live.
Don, at one point in Cleveland, the Browns led the Steelers 10-0. That lead has evaporated. Here's Bernie Kosar to Kevin Mack, hit by Greg Carr. He coughs it up, and the veteran Donnie Shell picks it up and takes off 19 yards for the game-tying touchdown. Back to Don.
Thank you, Bob Costas, and we're set to go now. The Bills have the ball. 2nd down and a long 7 coming up. Back to the run, back to Harmon. Turns the corner, moves put on, and he dives to the 40. Got about 3. The running yards come so tough against this Houston defense.
Since the first quarter, we've not seen Greg Bell, have we? He started the game, seemed to sprain his ankle. He went out. Harmon comes in and has played the entire game. Now, what that does to Buffalo is that Harmon is their 3rd down and long yardage situation guy out of the backfield. I'm wondering if those 7 carries have worn him down a little bit. He's not used to playing this much.
Well, they expect him to be a great one. He's had a pretty good day today. His rookie season was a major disappointment here in Buffalo. Now the Bills on 3rd down along 5 go back to Harmon. There's blockers in front. Harmon turns upfield, gets some more. Look at that move as he goes for a 1st down. That's why he was a number 1.
That was
Ronnie Harmon, an Iowa Hawkeye.
That was
down by Donaldson.
Excuse me, unbelievable play by Patrick Allen. The defensive back of the Houston Oilers, there was an offensive lineman in front of Harmon, and he had him dead in his sights, dove underneath the offensive lineman and is able to trip him up for a 7-yard gain, or he goes for a touchdown.
Well, I know this, Trump. Your old friend Bill Walsh, who coached you at Cincinnati, had a Ronnie Harmon as an absolute must for the 49ers. They tried everything to trade up last year in the draft to get him. So the potential is there, and some big plays are there today. High throw to Burkett. That's how you lose receivers, stretching them out like that. Kelly doesn't do it often. Patrick Allen was covering on the play. Jim Kelly is a man who doesn't want to strike. He says he's got about 100,000 reasons a week why not.
That's every week, not just this week.
He has a big home in Sugar Land, Texas, suburb of Houston. He's building a 6,000 square foot home here. Someplace to hang his hat in both towns.
What, are they going to practice in that place or what?
Second and 10, and Jim Kelly with the straight drop. Here comes the rush. It's coming hard. Kelly swings it out. Caught by Andre Reed. They rule him down at about the 48-yard line. Penalty down. Was there a late hit on Jim Kelly?
Yes. It'll be tacked onto the reception. One thing about Jim Kelly, you cannot wear this kid out.
Tough as a Texas boot.
Robert Lyles, linebacker from the other side, comes. This is vintage Jim Kelly standing right in there knowing that the pressure's coming. And that's that two-step rule.
So the Oilers, over-aggressive on defense, now give up some big yards to the Bills, who have advanced the ball with the penalty tacked down to the 33-yard line.
Now, we just heard from the Buffalo bench, Greg Bell has a pulled groin. Will not see action the rest of the day. That's why Harmon's in there.
It's a tough injury. They can keep you out a long time. Oilers lead it 17-13, but no scoring in the third quarter. Bad play. Can Kelly pick it up? He can, but he's in trouble back at the 45. So the Bills go to their bag of tricks, and it all blows up right in Jim Kelly's face. And what really turned the difference there was the penetration by the defensive front of the Oilers, who got to the man who tried to flip it back.
Johnny Meads, I believe, is the guy who makes the penetration. Am I right? Is it Johnny Meads, 91? And the running back can't get control of it. The ball's on the ground. And he does the smart thing. Get down.
Jim Kelly has one of the strongest arms in the NFL. He's going to need all of it to get a first down. Second and 32. It's a full heave with a drop back at 10 yards. 22-yard loss on an attempted trick play. Kelly gets out of trouble, throwing on the run. Look at that play, but it's incomplete. The Oilers right there to defend against Ronnie Harmon. The ball was on his numbers, but the ball was tipped away. Robert Lyles, a linebacker, was dropping back in coverage, and he made a huge play for Houston. Steelers have now rallied to tie the Browns at Cleveland. Bears continue to lead Tampa Bay. Cincinnati now lead cut to 6 points over San Francisco. And here in Orchard Park, New York, with 8 minutes and 49 seconds to play in the third quarter, it's the Oilers 17, the Bills 13. That's how it stood at the half. Third down and 32 coming up for Kelly.
You need a pass to a receiver here and a broken tackle to pick up 32 yards on the third down.
Oilers safety's 50 yards off the play. Kelly on the run, looking for the sideline, and he wisely slides to a halt, and the Bills will have to punt it. So the drive, which was aided by the penalty call against Houston, was cut short by a fouled-up trick play, and the Oilers will get it back and perhaps in pretty good field position.
Jeff Donaldson was there to make the tackle on Jim Kelly. He's been all over Jim Kelly all day. A couple of sacks, pressured him a couple of times, and also follows him out of the backfield.
Curtis Duncan is back now for the Oilers. A very high spiral hit upfield. Very well done by the Buffalo punter John Kidd, and Duncan has the fair catch at his 15-yard line. So Warren Moon and the Oiler offense come back out after a high-scoring first half. There's been no points yet in the second.
Your face takes enough abuse, so you need the Gillette Good News Plus disposable. Its Lubrismooth strip is designed to reduce irritation, so shaving feels so good. Good News Plus.
America's best-selling minivan, America's best-selling wagon, and the wagon version of the world's best-selling car. Of all the things they carry, the one thing they carry most proudly is the badge of America's most successful car company, Ford.
Winning the world over. Have you been behind the wheel? Winning the world over. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Hey, my desk.
Making room for the new computer.
We just got new computers.
I'm talking about a really big computer.
Is this big enough to run mainframe programs?
Piece of cake.
Is it big enough for hundreds of workstations?
Of course.
Wow, for thousands of customer accounts?
No sweat, kid.
Wow, that does sound big. You better not spill your coffee on it.
This is it? Where's the rest of it?
The IBM mid-range. Big computers in small packages.
Alaskan king crab from Glacier Bay and the great taste of Old Milwaukee beer.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place and Old Milwaukee beer.
Hey guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Patriots battle the Redskins.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
Back at the home field of the Buffalo Bills, Rich Stadium, it's Houston 17, Buffalo 13. Trump, a week ago, as we pointed out, Rozier had his best running day in the NFL of his 29-game career, 93 yards, and he's doing real well today.
Had 19 carries, 79 yards. He said after last week that he'd like to carry the ball 20 or 25 times every ball game. Last week, 20. So far today, 19 carries. He could become a workhorse like Earl Campbell was.
Boy, was he something. Hello, Earl, if you're out there. You were only great. Here's a swing pass in the flat out to the 22-yard line as the game clock goes down to 8 minutes to play in the third quarter.
The Tyler Rose was a thorn in a lot of people's side, wasn't he?
6 years, he averaged over 300 carries a season.
Warren Moon knows that Buffalo's defense is right there. He's mad at himself for not making the completion, but it would have been very close to an interception.
Warren Moon, 6 of 14 for just 36 yards. One for a touchdown, though. Over the top goes Rozier on 2nd down and 10. He doesn't get much. Got to the 20-yard line. Coming up to make the tackle for Buffalo was Bruce Smith at defensive end, shooting over the middle. And the rising star at outside linebacker, Shane Conlon, 58.
This has not been a friendly stadium for one Warren Moon. He had his worst game of his NFL career a couple of years ago here. Just unbelievably bad stats. I don't know why. He doesn't like Rich Stadium.
Warren Moon has got to be very bright to handle all that's been thrown at him. He's on his 4th quarterback coach in the last 4 seasons before he's been there. Up snap goes to Rozier. That's a big play in their arsenal, and this time Rozier breaks it. The snap went directly to Mike Rozier, and he is down inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. They've worked that in the preseason against the Rams, and this time they enjoy their greatest success with it. A direct snap to running back Mike Rozier from the shotgun. He was positioned right next to Warren Moon, and it's a 41-yard gain.
Ron Pitts finally makes the tackle. The Buffalo Bills have certainly seen this play an awful lot. You see the broken tackle there by Kelso, the free safety, so it's not as if they didn't expect it, but it's poor tackling that ends up 41 yards later. The Houston Oilers' biggest gain of the day.
Gifford Nielsen, the former Oiler quarterback who's here with the team, as one of their radio broadcasters said, look for it. I've been looking for it, and there it is. Big. Longest run of his career in the NFL, and now Alan Pinkett, small and elusive, so quick, darting up the middle into the heart of the Bills' defense, and in a first down carry, he's inside the 30-yard line.
Mark Kelso, the free safety, on the tackle. Once again, this is Marv Levy's biggest worry, that when a team begins to drive against Buffalo, they just seem to continue. That's a 12-yard pickup by Alan Pinkett.
Oilers lead it as they did at the half, 17-13. 6:29 to play in the third quarter. Oilers driving. Big play was the 41-yard run by Rozier. Moon gets time, and Moon makes the connection to Givens, and he's down to the 11-yard line. Ernest Givens off the flank, so very quick. Darting in the middle of the field, and Shane Conlon and Drew Hill mixed it up after the play. Hill's walking after Conlon. I think that's a bit of an overmatch. Drew Hill's 5'9", about 175, and Conlon's 235. Coach Levy's not pleased.
He shouldn't get out there. That would be my suggestion. Just stay where he is. Good pass protection that time down by Houston. Allowed Warren Moon to look at Givens there. It looked like about the 4th receiver. It ends up being a 16-yard gain. You can see Warren Moon looking all over the place. He starts outside. Givens is just sitting right in there in the middle. Excellent pass protection. Givens is surprised that there's nobody around him. The defender fell down. Big 16-yard pickup and a first down, Houston.
So now the Oilers are challenging, leading the game 17-13. First down and 10, just outside the 10. Moon on a call play, takes it himself. Penalty markers come in. Bruce Smith is infuriated. Now the players are starting up. McNanny in a fight, and the officials move in quickly, and so do teammates. We don't want personal foul calls. Bruce Smith swings away. Bruce Smith totally lost his composure. He's going to be out of the football game. Buffalo's best players going out, and so are some others maybe.
Well, they all got their helmets on, so nobody's going to get hurt.
Well, you know the guys, Trump, that have never been in a fight on a football field are the guys that take their helmets off.
There's Smurlus with his helmet off. That means I'm out of this. You guys handle it. That was a busted play by Warren Moon. I think Mike Rozier went the wrong way. Rozier went out, Moon went out there to hand off to somebody, and Rozier wasn't there. Bruce Smith still going at it with, is it Doug Williams, 69, a guy he's been up against all day? Yeah, it is.
Smith was absolutely infuriated when the play was going on. Somebody tackled him or something, and then he got up swinging. But it's going to take some time to sort this out now, get everybody back on the same page, but I think we're going to see some numbers done for the afternoon.
And I think this is an NFL record. I think every official has his flag on the field.
Let's watch again.
Let's see if we can try to find out who may have thrown the first punch. There's Bruce Smith on Doug Williams. Bruce Smith has his hand in Doug Williams' face. That happens on every play. There's a lot of pushing and shoving here. Let's see what happens afterwards. Yeah, they're the two that really started it. And we've also got Smurlus against Munchak.
I'd pay to see that one.
And Munchak going after Fred Smurlus.
Well, he takes his hat. See, you're right. He's taking his helmet off to say, I'm not involved in this.
Yeah, you guys handle it. Now, this is a prime place, in my estimation, where you can use the instant replay official to help the guys out on the field.
This ain't a great place, though, Trump, to be an official, because I think there's going to be some bills leaving.
Let's see what happens here. Tom Dooley, the referee.
We got illegal use of hands, number 63 offense. We got unsportsmanlike conduct, number 78 and 56 Buffalo, and they are disqualified.
Bruce Smith is out.
And 60 Houston, and they are disqualified.
2 from Houston went 2.
All right, will you tell Buffalo?
Buffalo loses Darryl Talley and Bruce Smith. Houston loses Mike Munchak and I believe Doug Williams, 69.
Well, both teams lost a all-pro quality player, Munchak from Houston and Smith from Buffalo.
Yeah, 69 Doug Williams is going out. Munchak is going out. Turned out to be a Sabres game, didn't it? Bruce Smith, 78. He's the one throwing the punches. Against Doug Williams, 69. Tally's right there. Hard to just pick out 4 guys there, 2 from each side, that were involved in that.
So Bruce Smith is done for the afternoon. Buffalo's best player on defense is out. Dean Trader's coming in. He's going to see some Oilers running at him in short order. Mike Kelly comes in to replace Munchak. Oilers continue to lead 17-13 with 5:38 to play in the third quarter. Its score has not changed since halftime. While there's a break on the field, it's been continuing now for 5 full minutes. We'll check the scoreboard around the National Football League. Coach Levy's off the phone. He's got more important people to talk to right now, like the officials. All third quarter scores, not a whole lot changing. Doug Williams is also out of the game. Munchak is still in, so it's Williams who went out. Munchak is still in. That's a big win for Houston.
Wait a minute, I thought they threw 2 guys out from Houston. Let's try to find out who the second one was. Doug Williams is definitely out of the ball game. There's no question about that. And Munchak is still in at left guard.
Rozier tries the middle. People playing very spirited football as there's a knockdown made at the 9-yard line by Fred Smerlas. Now to NFL Live.
All right, Don. Meanwhile, they're fighting things out in the National League East. The Cardinals are now in the 3rd inning at home, and they lead the Cubs 3-2. The Mets trail by a game and a half, and in the 6th at Pittsburgh, they lead the Pirates 3-2. Strawberry and Howard Johnson have home runs. The Expos are 2 games back. They're playing at home, and in the 5th, they trail Philadelphia 2-1. Back to Don Criqui, Bob Trumpy.
Oilers ready to go. Here's Rozier, knocked down in the backfield. Coming up to make the play was Bruce Mesner, a rookie nose tackle from Maryland, an 8th-round draft choice. Very big play as Rozier's having a career day. Scott Radisick coming up, 97. The linebacker comes in. He was a former Kansas City Chief, picked up off the waiver wire. The defensive coordinator for the Bills, Walt Corey, is a longtime Chiefs assistant. Radisick on a call defense, shot a gap and made the play. So the Oilers try again now. It's 3rd down. 3rd and 9 for the first down. 3rd and 10 for the touchdown. Moon stands in. He throws. It's overthrown to Haywood Jeffries. A moral victory of sorts for the Buffalo defense, but the Oilers set now to get points from Zendejas that would extend their lead to 20-13.
Let's make sure everyone knows now, I was incorrect as to who was thrown out of the game. The only player from Houston thrown out, to our knowledge, is Doug Williams. And Buffalo loses Darryl Talley and Bruce Smith. So Houston on the power play here.
Zendejas, as you see, has just tried one long one for 52 yards, and he hit it. He does again. So Zendejas, who was so strong last year, hitting 22 of 27, continues that run of success with 2 today, and it's a 20-13 game. Oilers a 27-yarder. Jim Kelly and the Bills get the ball in a moment.
Warm moments on a cold winter night. Good conversation, easy and light. And how about something for your appetite? Let our gentle flame cook up something right. Warm moments, for those warm moments. Nothing warms you like gas.
Warm is what a gas home is all about. And if you're beyond natural gas service, enjoy the efficiency of gas by using propane.
Nothing warms you like gas.
Lafitte, Louisiana and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Lafitte means flat-bottom boat racing and a Cajun feast that'll set your mouth on fire. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer, cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place, an Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
It doesn't get any better than this.
For 75 years, Liberty Mutual has shown companies like IBM, companies like General Mills, companies like Ramada Inns, and thousands of others how to make their workers' compensation dollars work harder. As a result, they've made Liberty Mutual the largest insurer of America's working men and women.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
They are called Olympic hopefuls, but hope plays a small role here. For it will take a courage, a discipline, and a sheer will few of us will ever know. And if their effort is true, then they too will be known as Olympians.
Set to go now. The Oilers take it down, get the field goal from Zendejas. And now Lee Johnson's ready to kick it off again for Houston. Rob Riddick is the deep man for the Bills. Boom. 2-iron shot through the end zone. Line drive, and so it comes out to the 20-yard line, and the Bills down by 7 get set to go on offense.
There goes Mojo.
The fabulous Mojo, Bill Lackey of the Oiler organization, getting a big cheer. He'll give that tumble now. Super. Bang it down. Been doing it for years. Hasn't been on the IR yet. The Bills have run today for a total of 74 yards, averaging over 4 yards a carry. Rozier has run for 125 yards for Houston, averaging 5-2. The big run, the 41-yarder off the trick play in a sense, a snap directly to him on a shotgun. Throw over the middle, a nice hit put on by the Oilers. Steve Brown comes across, and the receiver slow getting up, Andre Reed.
Well, it appears the Houston Oilers have slowed down a little bit in their blitzing. Not running as many crazy looks. There's Bruce Smith on the sideline. Icing down his hip.
Only his 3rd year in the league. They call him boss.
Oh, he's got to play to be boss.
He's out after the fight. 3:12 to go, 3rd quarter. Kelly with a 2nd down and 6. Go to the run. Blood and guts football. Oilers come a-hitting. Rookie Jamie Mueller, legs piston driving. Here's another penalty marker.
That's against Houston. I think it was Steve Brown, 24. Al Smith makes the tackle. Yeah, unsportsmanlike conduct against Houston. Now that's not very smart either. They've already thrown 3. He say 24 or 54. I think it was 24. It was 24. After you throw 3 guys out, you know the officials are going to try to get control of the game. Kind of a combination 24-54, but nevertheless 15 yards for Buffalo.
And the Bills get a 1st down as Kelly looks to go deep. Rush is coming. Here's a throw and a strike. Ball is caught by Andre Reed inside the 30. Puts the move on and gets to the 20. And he's all the way down to the 15, but they rule that he's down back upfield as the Bills are protesting vehemently. It will be a 1st down gain down to the Oiler 40-yard line.
Oh, wait a minute now. I don't think he was touched.
Marv Levy, he's pointing. He wants the officials to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good call for the instant replay, although the guy who marked downfield where it happened has already moved. I don't think he's touched. Not touched. Absolutely not touched. We're going to have an overcall here. We still got the referee all the way down the field here marking where he went out of bounds. It's going to be at that yard marker, whatever it is. Let's see if they call for a review. Yep. The umpire's talking. The guy standing over the ball. That's the referee. The umpire is standing over the ball, and he's listening. Here we go with a review. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to get another 20 yards. And you bet they're going to call whistle. And this is ridiculous. This is the way out of the replay. If he doesn't come back first and say the whistle blew, then they go to the replay. Now, there's no way in the world anybody can blow the whistle on this play. They may mark it, but there's no touch between offensive player and defensive player there. None.
But as you point out, Trump, the catch-all to get out of it is to say the whistle blew. How can the whistle blow in a split second like that?
Absolutely. The whistle is out. they're going to get an extra 20 yards on this one. It may take us a while to figure out exactly where the yard marker is, where the ball belongs, but
now there were 2 calls that went against the Bills last week that their people protested at the league office, and the league office said the Bills were right in their protest, but it's too little too late. It's in the book when the gun goes off. Oilers are leading 20-13.
The umpire is the man with the sophisticated hearing device. I believe Art McNally is the replay guy here. He's the head of officials. Tom Dooley talking to the umpire, and you see the side judge is kind of protesting a little bit here. Let's see what happens.
Is also
this
here.
Better not be a whistle.
The runner was knocked down by defensive contact. There was a whistle.
There we go. There's no way a whistle blows.
There's no way.
That is an absolute cop-out. Bob Rice is the replay official. That's a 40-yard gain if they overrule it, as it ends up a 15-yard game, and that's ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. There's no way a whistle could blow in that split second, but that's the catch-all that gets the officials off, and they don't deserve to be off on that one, it would seem. Now the handoff goes to Mueller as the Oilers come hitting, and rookie Jamie Mueller fights his way down to the 35-yard line.
Flag on Buffalo. Well, I like this replay system. I think it's very functional, but in my estimation, the people on the field are abusing the system.
Illegal motion.
The officials are always going to say that the whistle blows. I didn't buy it when they said it last year, and I don't buy it now. Things get a little crowded there.
It was a violent game. 20-13 is the count. Now on first down and 15 after the penalty call, Jim Kelly gets set to put it deep. Sideline throw. Nice catch by Ronnie Harmon down to the 37-yard line of the Oilers. Gain of about 8 yards on the play.
Good pattern run by Harmon. He splits out, and what they're trying to do is isolate defensive backs on people, kind of get them in some coverage that they can recognize. That's a nice throw by Kelly. And a nice catch by Harmon.
Metzlars, the tight end, aligns left. Oilers have done a good job taking Burkett out of the game so far in the second half. He caught 5 for 95 yards, you'll remember, in the first half. He's at the top of your screen, 85. Kelly looks. He throws. Ball took off on him. Might have been tipped. It was incomplete. 1:36 to go in the third quarter. Steelers and the Browns tied up 10-all in the third quarter. Bears fighting hard to stay ahead of Tampa Bay.
They may be playing until after the strike deadline.
Look at this. 49ers have come back to tie Cincinnati. And the Eagles have extended their lead to 20-10 over New Orleans after the Saints led 10-0. 20-13, Houston is the score here. Third down and a long 7. Kelly waits. He throws. It's too low against the rush. Big rush. Stop the play. And coming hard from the defensive end was Ray Childress. So a wild drive, and finally the Oiler defense stops it, and the Oilers will get it back on a punt. John Kidd, number 4, will try to pin the Oiler return man back deep in his own end and make the Oilers go the long field if the Bills can. High spiral, well hit to the near sideline. And it jumps out of bounds at about the 14 or 15-yard line of Houston. And so the Oilers go back on offense, 1st and 10. They have the only points of the second half, and that was a field goal here in the third quarter. On just 22 yards, but it did pin the Oilers back inside their 15. Tonight, NBC brings great family television home to you, starting with Our House. Then 2 great comedies come your way with Family Ties and the series premiere of My Two Dads. Then G. Gordon Liddy, L.A. Law's Jimmy Smits, Sam Jones, and Lyle Alzado star in the NBC world premiere movie The Highwayman, all tonight on NBC.
Oh, that sounds like a combination. Lyle Alzado and G. Gordon Liddy.
Oh, they shoot each other. Rozier breaks it for the moment, then a good open field tackle. Coming up to make the play was the strong safety Lawrence Johnson, who was formerly a number 2 draft choice of the Cleveland Browns. Out of Wisconsin, he was a consensus All-American player there. Short gain on the play. They'll give him 3 yards. Ball advanced to the 18-yard line of the Oilers, and Houston now has 2nd down and 7 coming up. We're in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. 2013 Oilers. Dump to Rozier. Mike Rozier is hit. Coming across to make the play was linebacker Scott Radisick.
Rozier has been busy in this ball game. He's over 20 carries. He's been the intended receiver on an awful lot of passes, and I think that's what they would like out of Mike Rozier every given week. A real durable back, a real mule they could go to, carry the load.
He's really come on now with 93 yards last week and over 130 this week. Among the NFL leaders after 2 games, Mike Rozier, after 2 disappointing seasons at Houston. 3rd and short, just over a yard. Rozier is knocked down, but did he get there? With the spots all important, it appears that he did. Inside linebacker Eugene Marv shot the gap for Buffalo and made the head-on hit, but the all-important line mark now from the linesman.
Scott Radisick right there too. Good double-team tackle by Marv and Scott Radisick up in the middle. Well, Don, from where they've spotted it, it looks like they've got it, but it's going to be very, very close. Oh, those are nice numbers. 209 total offensive yards by Rozier today. Boy, they'd like to have that out of Mike Rozier 16 weekends a year. If in fact there are 16 weekends this year.
Always a key statistic in games is turnovers, and the Oilers haven't turned the ball over once in this game. No turnovers for Houston, just 1 for Buffalo that the Oilers subsequently turned into a field goal. That was the interception of Jim Kelly. Game clock ticking down, 25 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. What was a very overcast, rainy morning now is lightened up into perfect weather here at Buffalo on the artificial turf field. 1st and 10 Houston on the final play of the 3rd quarter. Good pass blocking. Throw and an incomplete ball, and so the clock now shows 3 seconds to play in the quarter. John Kaiser in at outside linebacker for Darrell Talley, one of 2 Buffalo players who was ejected from this game. And John Kaiser, who was picked up off the waiver wire, cut by Seattle, was covering Ray Wallace on the play. Larry Felser, a well-known football writer here in Buffalo, had an interesting observation on the strike. He said, "I'd like to sympathize with the players, but that $230,000 average salary keeps getting in the way."
Yes, $100,000 a week in the case of Jim Kelly. A week, I said, a week.
Rozier runs and gets it out to the 34-yard line. Scott Radisick and Lawrence Johnson were on the tackle. That's the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, the Oilers 20, the Bills 13. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
This guy's not looking for awards. He's out for old-fashioned, go for it, justice.
Who are you?
Tonight, the Highwayman.
Look closely now. See if you can tell what each of these men has in common. It's something nobody has ever detected. Not their co-workers, best friends, or lovers. Each of these men is bald. They each wear an undetectable hair replacement unit. One more thing they have in common. Since regaining his full, healthy head of hair, each man feels better about himself than he has in years. Isn't it time you felt better about yourself? You don't have to be bald anymore. Call A&E Hair Fashions, 315-445-1177.
Through the cold of winter, the high-efficiency Lennox Pulse gas furnace sends steady heartbeats of quiet, even warmth throughout your home. With a Lennox Pulse, you know you have the best. After all, it's backed by a limited lifetime warranty. For your family's comfort, no furnace heats like the Lennox Pulse.
For the best in heating and air conditioning equipment, call APW General Heating and Air Conditioning at 479-8473. Meet my friends Dave Pickerel and Mike Charles of Charles Heating and Air Conditioning.
Call Charles for quality sales and service.
We're in the yellow pages.
Penalty? Yes, for not having your money in a money market account.
But I do. I like high interest rates.
Then you're paying penalties for service fees.
Not at my bank. There are no hidden fees.
But I bet you can't get your money out when you want it.
Anytime.
But look what you get at First National.
Bingo.
First National announces its first insured money fund. Earn an incredible 11% interest for the first 45 days. Then your account earns our usual high rate, 11% interest for the first 45 days, only at First National.
Hollywood Squares, weeknights at 7:30 on Channel 3.
Nice pickup here by Rozier, but watch when he goes down, he kind of puts his helmet right in the turf, and that ball will knock the wind out of you. Rozier laid on the turf for a while, got up, made his way to the Houston Oilers bench. I think he's worn out. He came in with a bad neck, too, from last week. Strained his neck a little bit. Seems to be all right. He's been a big factor for Houston today.
Let's see what Warren Moon and the Oilers can get going now. They lead by 7. To the run they go, and Alan Pinkett is hit hard as he tries the left side of the Bills defense. Coming up to make the stick was McNanny, number 95. Conlon's been on so many tackles, and Radisic, 97's number, has been out the bottom of a lot of piles. They were very surprised, Crump, to get Scott Radisic. He was a number 2 draft choice at Kansas City, was a starting player for 2 years. He was waived this year. He's only in his 4th year.
When the Chiefs went to a 4-man line, Radisic was out with Mike Bell back. They're going to play Mike Bell at the defensive end. Pete Koch inside with Bill Moss and Art Still.
Line drive punt downfield. Pitts will run it back for the Bills. 35 and out to the 38-yard line, and here's a penalty marker down.
That's a clip. Illegal block in the back.
37-yard kick. Lights out.
Number 51, Eric Fairs, was down to make the tackle on special teams for Houston. If there are games next week, Oilers go back to the Astrodome to take on the much-hated L.A. Raiders. Bills go to Dallas. Odds are strong, though. The lads will be home next Sunday.
Yeah, well, if you're going to miss a game in the season, Raiders coming to Houston.
We got illegal block in the back. Number 79 to the receiving team. First down. TV timeout.
All right, let's take it then.
We'll be back after this.
No better value? Absolutely. Our new Tandy 1000HX is made in the USA and designed to be one of the easiest to use PC compatibles ever. And it's priced for the home. Just how easy is it? Turn it on, it's ready to go. The whole family can use it for education, games, and budgeting. We even give you 7 programs to get started, including word processing, filing, and spreadsheet. Easy enough, no better value.
Tandy Computers, because there is no better value. Only at Radio Shack.
Every 3,000 miles, you can change your oil yourself, leave your car at the dealer, spend all day at the service station, or drive into Jiffy Lube with no appointment. In 10 minutes, the J-Team will change your oil with quality Pennzoil, replace the filter, lube the chassis, fill the important fluids, 14 quality services. Jiffy Lube turns an all-day oil change into a 10-minute family reunion.
Welcome to Jiffy Lube. We'll take care of you like family.
Nice flying, Greg.
Thanks.
So, you're really not going to do another tour?
Nah, Susan and I have made plans.
You're going to miss this place.
Sure, Doc. My mind's made up, all right?
Then I guess you're going to want this.
American accepted me. Looks like I'm going back to flight school.
I hope they know they're getting one of the best.
When you're something special, people know it.
Today's game is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By the Energizer Battery, good times never lasted longer. And by American Airlines, something special in the air.
The Bills have the ball, positioned at their 22-yard line. First down and 10. The Oilers lead the game 20-13 as we start the 4th quarter. Jamie Mueller, that rookie running back. Looking like he belongs in the big time. Takes it out for a first down to the 34-yard line, a 12-yard gain.
He's played an awful lot in place of Carl Byram today.
7 carries for 39 yards.
Very impressive. Oilers with a little more time of possession. Almost dead even on yards. And, of course, that run by Mueller going to change that. And the rushing yards for the Bills now over 100 yards. Close to 100 yards.
Ronnie Harmon puts a move on. Oilers force him back in. Al Smith comes up, makes the tackle along with John Grimsley. Cleveland has extended its lead now over Pittsburgh, breaking the tie. Bears still holding to the advantage over Tampa Bay. Miami seemingly in command at Indianapolis.
Tom, when this game started, we were talking about the Oiler defense and the job they've done against quarterbacks. Well, Kelly today has completed 56% of his passes, much above the average that Houston generally allows.
It certainly is. And now penalty markers come in before the snap of the ball. It would have been a second down and a long 5 play, almost 6 for Buffalo, but a false start will cost the Bills 5, so they'll go to second down and 10.
Jim Richer came out of his stance. He's the left guard. Kelly's numbers for the day: 17 of 30, 195 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
Nothing kills a drive like somebody leaving before the snap count on the offensive line. Now second down and 10 for Kelly and the Bills. Jim Kelly throwing on the run. It's taken down by Andre Reed, a late hit. Well, you talk about a cheap shot.
You got it.
There's the quintessential cheap shot.
Steve Brown.
Steve Brown, who was flagged earlier.
There's no question about that one.
If it's flagrant enough, they can throw him out.
That's true.
That's got to be close. Driving the shoulder into a down receiver's face.
That should be tacked onto the end of the play, too. So it'll be a 12 or 13-yard pickup and then a 15.
This is really flagrant. Look at this.
Yeah, they tack it on to the end of the play, too, so it ends up being like a 30-yard gain. That's unnecessary. Steve Brown is an excellent player.
He's a very good player.
You get a reputation like that with cheap shots, and all of a sudden, it doesn't make any difference how good a player you are. You stay home for Pro Bowls. It's a 13-yard catch, and a 15-yard penalty ends up being a 28-yard gain.
The emotion level of this game is sky high. There have been fights. 2 key Bills have been ejected. Hand off straight ahead, and Mueller drives inside the 35 down to the 33. With the Oilers leading by 7, let's go to NFL Live.
All right, Don, it's not often that you see Bernie Kosar scramble. He's not exactly Fran Tarkenton in that category, but he gets away from the Steeler rush, scrambles right, and just as he's about to be hit, he finds the ice cube. Gerald McNeil, 11-yard touchdown. They've gone to the fourth quarter, 17-10 Browns.
Thank you, Bob, as the Bills set up now at their 36-yard line, or the 36-yard line of the Oilers. Kelly on second, he needs 7. As a man, Metzlars, his tight end, comes down with the ball, but not for very much. He's down to the 30-yard line.
Bostic on the coverage. There's still some unpleasantries exchanged there.
Is there?
There's Brown on the coverage on Andre Reed, 24 on 83. Now comes over to assist on the tackle. Not exactly sure what you'd call that. But they're down at about 3 or 4 now. And Houston has taken a timeout.
So the Oilers take their first time out of the second half. They have 2 left. The Bills with their full complement of 3 remaining as Jim Kelly comes over for some counsel. A break in the action. We'll be back after this.
One rockin' evening at the Silver Bullet.
This band sure is loud. Oh, thanks. I just bought it. Want to dance? No, thanks. I'm Coors Light.
You can't
can't hear me, can you? I think you're beautiful. In fact, I think you look so hot in here, isn't it? Of course, it's not so much the heat as it is the humidity.
There's no slowing down with the silver bullet tonight.
If your home was destroyed, would your insurance pay to completely rebuild it? Fact is, even with an inflation clause, your policy may not cover today's higher rebuilding costs.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Allstate can make sure you're protected. With an Allstate home replacement cost guarantee, we'll pay to completely rebuild your home, no matter what the cost.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
When you're working on your American dream, you want it to last forever.
Andersen Windows have helped build American dreams for over 80 years.
We take the time to build the best. That's what we've always been. Come home to quality. Come home to Andersen.
Where can you go to buy Andersen Windows? Call 1-800-255-2550.
This guy's not looking for awards. He's out for old-fashioned. Go for it. Justice. Who are you? Tonight, the Highwayman.
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at Rich Stadium as the Buffalo Bills have the ball down to the 31-yard line of Houston. The Oilers lead the game 20-13 with 11 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Bills have not scored in the second half. Oilers with only a field goal since the halftime.
Watch the blitz here, Don. Houston's showing it.
Penalty markers down. Two of them down. Long ball. Man's open. Ball is taken by Riddick and he loses it. But the markers are down at the line of scrimmage. Kelly's clapping his hands. He sees one official and one flag, but there's another one down at the other side of the field.
I think it's offsides against Houston.
Well, that's what it is. Very observant.
So penalties have really hurt the Houston Oilers, especially in this drive. Personal foul by...
Offside. 95 defense. First down.
That's against William Fuller.
Warren Moon had 310 yards against one of the NFL's best defenses, that of the Rams. Warren passing the ball last week, but Bills have held him, as you see, to 57.
Hey, he didn't like Rich Stadium. 1985, he had a game where he was 3 of 14 for a grand total of 22 yards and threw 3 interceptions.
Let's see what Kelly does here on first down. Bills down by 7. 10:54 to play in the game. To the run to Jamie Mueller. I think you're going to see a lot more of that 39 as the season wears on, if it wears on. The rookie runner from Benedictine, who was drafted in the 3rd round. Made some big plays for Buffalo today. Extra defensive back now comes in for the Oilers. Richard Johnson comes in, a #1 draft choice in '85 out of Wisconsin.
17, Denver 10.
Linebacker Al Smith goes out. A gain of almost 4. Excuse me, Trump.
They got to pick up this blitz now. It's going to come from somewhere.
Pitch back to Harmon. A weaving and a running, and Harmon cutting back. Look at the moves by Ronnie Harmon, reminiscent of the greatest runner that ever played here in Buffalo, O.J. Simpson. He takes it down very close to a first down.
Excellent block out front by Tim Vogler. Fulton was out there to escort Ronnie Harmon as Smith is down on the field. See if we can see what happens. Oh, that's what happens. That's Vogler blocking him right there. Really put him right to the ground, and then Ronnie Harmon gets fancy. That's a nice run by Harmon. Pickup of almost 10 yards. And Doug Smith, who was absolutely hammered by Tim Vogler, is trying to regain his feet there.
So while Doug Smith has attended to, there's a break in the action. Back with the Oilers leading by 7.
You've probably heard that Coors isn't pasteurized. Well, it's true. It's also true that Coors is the only major brewer who won't pasteurize any of their beer. The reason? It's taste. See, when you pasteurize something, you heat it. And heating hurts the taste of beer. So Coors purifies without heat. That helps make Coors a little less heavy, never bitter, but with all the spirit of a great beer. So when you want a beer, it's just plain better. Coors is the one.
What's the longest lasting battery you can buy? I'm gonna surprise ya! New Energizer! Sound surpriser! New Energizer! It's up to test! New Energizer was best! Lasted longer than all the rest! Too right! New Energizer! New Energizer! It'll surprise ya! It'll surprise ya!
Laboratory tests prove in most devices, Energizer lasts longer than any other battery. New Energizer. Aye.
Engine repairs are not cheap, but they may be preventable with Fram WearGuard oil filters. A leading consumer magazine rated Fram best. So pay a few dollars now or a lot later.
Take good care of your car, but forget your brakes. Might as well do this. Bendix brakes pass tougher tests than any law requires, so think about Bendix. The sooner, the better.
Next Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Patriots battle the Redskins.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL Live.
From behind this play, watch Jamie Mueller. He's the one who hits Doug Smith, and then Vogler out in front also has an excellent block. Doug Smith remained on the ground. He got up under his own power and went to the Houston Oilers bench, but that's a nice 10-yard pickup by Ronnie Harmon. And the Buffalo Bills, a fine drive here, started at their own 22.
This is a good one here in Buffalo. Oilers holding to a 7-point lead. Bills challenging. Back to the run. Riddick picking on tacklers. He's down close to the 10-yard line. A lot of time remaining with the Oilers in front by 7. 9 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the game, and the clock running.
That's not right.
That's an incorrect score. Cleveland leads 17-10 over Pittsburgh. And I know Chicago doesn't lead 4-3. Problems with the computer. Computer went down. That's why the wrong numbers. Here is a handoff to Harmon. He's down to the 8-yard line. Oilers toughen up as they're back to their goal line now. Leading the game by 7 is Houston. Third down arises for the Bills. It'll be third and about a yard and a half.
Johnny Means made that tackle from the backside down, ran down Harmon from the backside.
Oiler defense seems a lot quicker, Trump, than in years past.
Well, it also is part by alignment and the fact that you really don't know who's coming from where. This is a dangerous down here for Buffalo. Watch for the blitz. Here they come.
Kelly throws. Man's open. Touchdown, Buffalo. What a play. Andre Reed, a third-year player from Kutztown, and now the Bills are back to within a point with a lot of time left.
I believe the man in coverage was Patrick Allen, 29. Excuse me, Audrey McMillan, 26 was the man in coverage. And when you can pick that blitz up, what it does is put those cornerbacks and safeties out there in single coverage. Reed ran an excellent pattern. Kelly had time and really threw a rocket for a touchdown.
So Jim Kelly with 2 touchdown passes in this game. Now the extra point attempt by Scott Norwood. We're tied at 20 with 8:37 to play.
The Oilers come with a blitz. You can see people coming from everywhere. Richard does a great job of picking up 2 guys. Johnson. That's an outstanding catch by Andre Reed. And Kelly's down there to be the first man to shake his hand. The offensive line does a great job. 31 Donaldson trips. Devlin a great job. 70 on 79 Childress. Plenty of time. You take chances with the Houston defense. You're trying for big plays. But if your opponents pick it up, then somebody's going to be open somewhere.
Like a rock concert. So So the Bills have rallied to tie the game with the first touchdown of the second half. At halftime, the Oilers led 17-13. Houston extended its lead on a Zendejas field goal to 20-13. Now that long sustained drive by Buffalo, 78 yards in 10 plays. Kelly to Reed on the payoff and a 9-yard throw. And it's a 20-20 game with 8 minutes and 37 seconds left to play.
Realized the biggest play in that drive was a penalty on Houston.
That's right. Here's the high spinning kickoff. Alan Pinkett crosses the 10, and look at the special teams play as everybody is emotionally lifted by the Buffalo score. Riddick comes down. Also on the play for Buffalo was John Kaiser, number 52.
Now it's up to the Bills defense. The Bills offense now has the momentum. Emotionally, they're very high. Now the Bills defense got to try to get Houston 3 plays and out. Give the Bills another chance.
The Oilers will be looking to sustain the drive downfield. Oilers have not turned the ball over in this game, and Warren Moon sure doesn't want to do it down here. Gambling lets her rip. Man is open. They give him the catch. A beautiful completion. Ernest Givens on a line drive throw goes sky high and comes down with the ball. What a play for Houston. A 22-yard gain.
Derek Burrows, the man in coverage. Givens gave him a great move upfield. First foot, second foot.
Isn't that something?
Wow, that's a beautiful catch.
Absolute perfection on the football field.
Moon puts this thing out there.
And this thing comes in fast.
Stretches the receiver out a little bit, but first down.
And the Oilers move it out now to their 40. Moon wants some more. Man wide open, tight end Jamie Williams on the run. Inside the Bills 40 and down to the 37-yard line. So on 2 passing plays, the Oilers get out of jail and advance the ball now to where they're challenging in this tie game. 25-yard gain to the former Nebraskan Jamie Williams.
Good play action fake by Warren Moon. And actually, the tight end, Jamie Williams, goes right by Scott Radisick, who had the coverage, who replaced Darryl Talley, who was thrown out. So eventually, we thought it was going to have an effect on the Buffalo defense. It's not deep. Radisick, a great player, but he's just been here like 10 days or 2 weeks. He doesn't know all the defenses.
That's all. Thrown in spot situations, but he has to play from scrimmage a lot because Talley's out. Moon wants some more. Looking, firing. Here's a throw, and it's a catch down to the 17-yard line. Drew Hill. But there is a penalty marker down. However, it's down in the Bills secondary. Drew Hill, who caught 5 against his old team, the Rams, last week, had a great day. For 95 yards, coming back to the huddle, and it's going to be against Buffalo, so the Oilers drive on. They have another first down.
Up to this point, the defense has done an excellent job for Buffalo, and now they've turned Civ.
Holding, 49 defense, penalty is declined, first down.
49 defense?
There is no 49 in Buffalo. Cincinnati holding to a very tight lead over the 49ers.
Closest one we can figure out.
Philadelphia over New Orleans.
Maybe Lawrence Johnson, 48. Nevertheless, first down Oilers.
Oilers challenging. Here's the run. Rozier takes on the middle of the Bills defense and slides on down to the 12-yard line. Ray Bentley, a 245-pound inside linebacker, made the stop on Rozier, who's having his biggest day in the NFL. Mike Rozier has run it 17 times for 143 yards, as you see, in a touchdown.
27 times.
27 times. So the Oilers respond very positively to the long Bill drive that resulted in the game-tying touchdown. Now the Oilers are looking to take back the lead. Fake to Rozier. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Ernest Givens. Only great. Another perfect throw-catch combination. Moon to Givens, and the Oilers take the lead 26-20.
Again, great play action. Held the linebackers at the line of scrimmage. And if you can create that dead spot in coverage between the linebackers and the defensive backs, there's a nice little alley for the quarterback to throw it. Givens runs the crossing pattern. You see the linebacker just kind of sitting there. They're held at the line of scrimmage because of the play-action fake. It turns out to be an easy completion. Kelso makes the tackle.
Extra point is good, and so the Oilers really show their stuff. After the Bills drove down and tied the game, Houston on the away field goes right down the field. They went right to the right arm of Warren Moon, and finally it was that right arm that took him into the end zone. 4 big throwing hits in this drive, and Ernest Givens comes down with the ball. It's 27-20 with 6:27 to play. Oilers kick it off, and we come back.
A tradition of horsepower. Miss Budweiser and the king of beers. A tradition of horsepower that's making waves. Racing fans, this Bud's for you.
With Bob Trumpy, this is Don Criqui back at Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. The Oilers on a sustained drive have taken it down the field, and they have now gone in front 27-20. Hard kickoff downfield. It goes into and out of the end zone. Well done by Lee Johnson of Houston, and the Bills will start from their 20. Buffalo trailing the Oilers 20-13 or 27-20.
And we'll look at that play again from the end zone, and you can see the effect of a good play-action fake has on the linebackers. 97 Radisic, 50 Bentley. Watch Bentley's got to wait to see if he's going to hand it off. Just him following the tight end, that creates the gap behind the linebacker. And there's where Givens is for a touchdown. Beautifully designed play, well executed.
82 yards in 5 plays. Just over 2 minutes. Warren Moon hitting on 4 or 5 throws in the drive. Here's Kelly looking to get some right back. He gets time this time, loops it downfield. It's intercepted by Houston. Donaldson, the free safety, looks like the man who came down with it, and so the Bills are stopped and the Oilers in position to maybe nail the lid on.
Now I can tell you once again that Jerry Glanville defense, they're trying to disguise what they're doing. And what happened is a misread by Jim Kelly, and all of a sudden Donaldson's there as a free safety to pick it off. You'll see Donaldson, you can see him right at the top of the screen. You see his feet, his responsibility, read the quarterback's eyes. When he sees Kelly going for that receiver coming across the middle, Andre Reed, Donaldson frees up, jumps right in front for the interception.
Ball was just too high, Trump, and now the Oilers with an excellent defensive play by Donaldson have the ball at the Buffalo 21-yard line. Moon's looking for the end zone. Jamie Williams can't hold on at the 11-yard line.
Well, if he didn't want to throw it to him, Ernest Givens was open right behind him again. Wide open.
And I think Ernest will make that point when he gets back to the huddle.
Yeah, they may come right back with that one. Givens was about 10 yards deeper and not a man close to him.
Ernest is an exceptional athlete. 5'9", 175 pounds, if that. But he can two-hand slam dunk a basketball with no problem. Yep. There's only one thing Spud Webb can do, I can do. Oilers go to the run and pound the ball at Buffalo. Schmerlis and Radisic on the tackle of Ray Wallace.
The Bills fans are heading for the exits here. There's still some football left here. Look at there.
Oilers still without a turnover in this game. And the Bills with 2 critical ones. The last, the interception of Jim Kelly. We'll see if the Oilers turn that into points as they did earlier in the game in the first half when they intercepted Kelly and subsequently got a field goal off it. Penalties, as you see, have been a factor in this game.
Illegal shift here on Houston.
And 35 on the offensive team moving the same time. The penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
Remember, too, that Houston's had a very difficult time over the last 5 seasons winning on the road. 3-33. Here's the head man, Jerry Glanville.
Oilers have won their opener the last 3 years, then gone into a tailspin, but today they're really coming up with a big effort. Again, that trick snap to the upback. Earlier in a drive that led to a touchdown, Rozier took one on that snap in a shotgun formation, went 41 yards running the ball.
Watch what happens here. The center is Jay Pennison. Going to give him credit. He shows no indication that he's going to snap it to Rozier. Moon carries out the fake like it's a pass. And it works. Not enough for a first down, but about 4 or 5 yards closer for Zentejas.
Zendejas looking for his 12th field goal in a row, dating back to last season. He gets it. So now the Oilers are very much in command. The Bills in deep trouble as they are trailing 30-10, 30-20 with 4 minutes and 58 seconds left to play.
Just a little chip shot for Tony Zendejas. Johnson the holder. Yeah, nothing to it. Just a short putt.
The Bills in serious jeopardy of getting off to an 0-2 start for the 4th straight year. Imagine when Houston gets a couple of those people back like Alonzo Highsmith.
Bruce Matthews.
I guess they'll play Alonzo Highsmith at fullback when he signs, and he will eventually. And I'll tell you, he's one of the best defensive ends that you'll ever see.
He's one of the what?
Best defensive ends if they want to play him that.
Who? Alonzo Highsmith?
Alonzo Highsmith.
Play him at defensive end?
Well, if you want to play him both ways, as Coach Jimmy Johnson said, if you want to pick a single best position, it's rushing the passer.
Really?
But he was so valuable to the Miami offense, they went that way with him. In high school, he only played 2 downs of offense in high school. He's a high school All-American as a defensive end in Miami, Columbus High School, with Don Shula's son. High spinning kick. Comes down to Riddick. Whoa. He thought about it, but the Oilers on the fly on special teams give him reason to think otherwise. Next week, if the NFL is still in business without a strike, the action continues when the Patriots head into RFK Stadium to take on the Washington Redskins in an interconference battle. Then in the second half of a doubleheader day on NBC Sports, the Jets play the Steelers at Pittsburgh. Plus regional action next Sunday. It all begins with NFL Live at 12:30 Eastern Time. Check your local listings for the game and times in your area. Your team plays here on NBC Sports. Here's a throw and a catch. Up the flank comes running back Ronnie Harmon, and he's ahead for a first down out to the 34-yard line. The time becoming a factor as Buffalo's down by 10. Oilers lead it 30-20. That was a 14-yard gain.
John Grimsley was on the tackle there. Nice little slant pass. That's one thing Buffalo's been able to develop today. Putting Harmon out in the flat, flank him as a wide receiver. I think they've narrowed down the coverage and done a pretty good job with it.
Another throw, another catch, another first down for the Bills, and they execute it nicely as Burkett takes it and goes out of bounds to stop the clock. 4 new downs for Buffalo, and again, Kelly, laser sharp drilling the ball, takes the Bills down the field, but you'll remember before this drive, he was intercepted, and the Oilers turned it into a field goal that gave them the 10-point lead they now hold. That was a 12-yard gain.
Once again, I think Houston pretty much in the prevent frame of mind here. Not going to put as much pressure on the quarterback, even though they'll show blitz. I think most of them will drop off.
Kelly from the shotgun. They indeed do drop off. Long ball. It floats. It's too much. On the fly was Trumaine Johnson. Got over 100 passes one year in the USFL. Cleveland takes command of the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Browns coming off an opening day loss. Cincinnati with a late field goal now extends its lead over the 49ers. Miami has beaten Indianapolis, and the Dolphins are now a 1-1 team. Atlanta has upset Washington 21-20 after the Falcons were humiliated by Tampa Bay on opening day.
We got another personal foul against Houston, this time against Doug Smith. So another 15 yards for Buffalo. Houston's given Buffalo a chance here with 4:10 to go in the 4th. There's the man that the penalty was on.
Gargantuan nose tackle from Auburn. Ball positioned at the 37-yard line of Houston. Kelly in the shotgun. Harmon swings out. Kelly looks deep. Now looks at Harmon. Now he takes off and throws to Harmon on the run. Or to Burkett. Little too much on it. Incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 37-yard line.
You know, if he wanted to run,
yeah,
he had about 25 yards right in front of him. Steve Brown was a man in coverage. Latter stages of the game, though, you would prefer that your quarterback throw the ball. So if it's not a completion, okay, fine. At least it stops the clock.
As Lee Trevino likes to say, 2 things with short life expectancies are dogs who chase cars and pros who make pars, and quarterbacks who run. They never added that, but
Lee Trevino said that.
Lee Trevino, you make pars in that pro tour in your history. Long ball. Man is out there. Rob Riddick. Oh, he was tackled before the ball came in. It's going to be a interference call against Houston, and so the Bills will have it 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line.
Audrey McMillan, the man in coverage.
3:56 to play.
They've kind of picked on him today. Buffalo's figured out a way to, with motion and formation, single up people on Audrey McMillan. Riddick out of the backfield. And that's clearly a penalty, probably.
Defensive pass interference, number 26, 1st down.
You know that they can actually award a touchdown if there's a foul like that is so severe that a touchdown would have happened. That's pretty close right there. I think that ball is very catchable.
Oilers have a substantial lead in penalty yardage now after that one. They've been penalized 118 yards, 10 calls against them. The Bills with 7 personal penalty calls for 50 yards. Over the top goes Rob Riddick. Scored twice in the opener against the Jets. Scored once today. He's down close. Time very much a factor. The clock shows 3:49 to play. And the Oilers lead the game by 10, but that could be cut to 3 very shortly.
And you mentioned the penalties called on Houston. Last year, the penalties killed Houston. So Jerry Glanville this summer hired an NFL official, and at every practice during their summer camp, he called penalties. And until today, it worked.
Riddick in close. He's in. It's a touchdown for Buffalo with 3.5 minutes to play. It's not over yet.
Let's see if we start seeing people filing back in Rich Stadium.
There's no question, Trump, that when the Oilers run their basic defense with that all-out pass rush, they stop Buffalo. But when they go back with a lot of people in coverage, Kelly takes the ball right through them. It's happened time and again in this game, and now the Bills are back to within 3 if they hit this extra point.
Well, Kelly's close to completing 60% of his passes on the afternoon. You saw that graphic, and he's never completed less than 50% in the NFL game. Rather remarkable against this Houston defense.
Mr. Touchdown. He's got 4 this season, Rob Riddick.
This is kind of like the Fosbury flop. And then he doesn't really get up in the air, and Grimsley and Donaldson there to make the tackle, but it's in the end zone. And there was a player down on the field in the end zone from the contact. Can't identify him yet.
Game clock shows 3 minutes and 31 seconds left to play in regulation. We could be going to OT today if the Bills get it back, but you'll remember how the Oilers responded the last time Buffalo scored. Right down the field. The sharpest passing of the day by Warren Moon, and he took him right into the end zone to give them the 10-point lead. 7-point lead, and then they got the interception to Kelly. Turn that into a field goal. Baseball next week on NBC Sports. The Tigers and the Blue Jays locked in that battle for the American League East title will be hooking up. The Cardinals and the Cubs will also be playing. It all begins with Major League Baseball on Inside Look. That's next Saturday on the Major League Game of the Week here on NBC Sports. Right now, an injured Oiler being attended to, Keith Bostic, who's played an outstanding game. 2 interceptions against the Rams last week, another interception today.
He kind of throws himself around, you know. He can end up with a headache or two the way he plays.
Big, strong safety from Michigan, a 210-pounder. Now a most important extra point. Bills, as you joined us late, have lost two of their best defensive players. Without question, their number one defensive player, defensive end Bruce Smith, went out on a personal foul call against him. A fight erupted after a play. Extra point is spun up and good, so it's a 3-point game, Oilers. And Houston will get the ball in a moment with 3 minutes and 31 seconds left to play.
Now you got to start taking inventory. I think the Buffalo Bills still have 3 timeouts left. Houston Oilers have 2. There you are. There's 3 minutes plus left. Now Jerry Glanville's got some tough choices. The thing he's done the best is give the ball to Rozier today. But Don, I think Rozier is approaching, Mike Rozier is approaching 30 carries on the afternoon. And if that's so, Mike Rozier has got to be very, very tired. So I'm not sure you can really go to Mike Rozier. The next best thing that they've done is just play it like it's the first quarter and throw the little square in routes. Yeah. Rozier has 28 carries. That's the scoring drive. So now you got to kind of collect yourself. Defensively, well, Corey is thinking, what have we done so far today that has stopped Houston? Let's try that in this particular instance, because you need 3 plays and out here. You can't give Houston a first down if you're the Buffalo coaching staff. That's the way you got to think. So I think if I were Houston, I'd come out and throw it on the first down. We'll see what happens.
Warren Moon responded to that last Buffalo score prior to this one, taking them, as we mentioned, right down the field. And now Willie Drury is ready to take the kickoff for the Oilers. A high spinning kick, but not deep. Drury will run it back. Run is 2. Here comes the special teams. And down goes Drury inside the 15-yard line. Ray Bentley, number 50, was down to make the play, a starting inside linebacker for Buffalo.
Houston kind of in a tough spot there. They had their hands team in, and that is expecting the onside kick. And when you have the hands team, there's not really a blocking pattern set up for the return man. The net result, Ray Bentley makes a nice tackle, and Houston's at their own 13-yard line.
Hey, this is a heck of a football game. The Oilers with a 3-point lead.
What could Buffalo use Bruce Smith and Darryl Talley right now?
3:22 to play. Let's see if Warren Moon puts it right up or tries to run the clock. Right up top he's going. Swing pass. That was tipped. If it wasn't, it's very nearly a lateral. Somebody ought to fall on it.
It was tipped. It was intended for Rozier out in the flat. Good pressure by Buffalo. If you can't get to the quarterback, at least when you get there, get your hands up. Let's see if we can pick out the hand that did it. Decent pressure.
Bruce Mesner, a rookie nose tackle from Maryland, might have had a piece of the ball.
He got his hand up.
Now the Oilers go to the red gun formation. 1 running back, 4 wide receivers. 2nd and 10. They go to the run and up the middle, but no gain. On the stop, number 96, Leon Seals, another rookie. Game clock running. It's climbing down now, close to 3 minutes to play. 3 minutes and even, and the clock ticks down inside 3 minutes. Ball positioned, as you see, at the 14-yard line.
I think if I were Buffalo right now, I'd take a timeout. Especially, certainly after the next play, you got to take a timeout. The defense can stop the clock only with a timeout.
This is a very big play for the Oilers. It's 3rd down and a long 8. Warren Moon takes a look. Here comes the rush. It's incomplete, and the Oilers have to punt with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play.
Excellent coverage by Roland Mitchell, number 25 of the Buffalo Bills. The thing that's worked all day long for Houston has been these one-on-one matchups, but you see Roland Mitchell had a little bit of the shirt there, but he got away with it.
Oh, I think Roland got away with a lot.
Incomplete pass. Lee Johnson on the punt.
Nobody's covered Givens today, and they needed that to do it. No foul, though, called, and the Oilers will punt. Big hit downfield. The left foot boot to Pitts, and he fair catches the ball at the 46-yard line with 2:23 to play.
All right, now if you're Buffalo, you got to once again take inventory. Jim, you got 3 timeouts left. There's plenty of time. You got to think of what Houston's done to you that you have to protect against. The blitz has hurt Buffalo for not picking up the blitzer. Mueller's run the ball very, very well. Now they got their passing set in there. Riddick and Harmon. Watch one of them split out. That's a 59% completion percentage on the day.
Here's the rush. Kelly stands in. Man is open. Ball is caught. And a penalty marker's down. It'll be against the Oilers.
I'm not so sure here. Wait a minute.
He looked like he got hit before the ball came in.
Yes, sir. I thought
against Buffalo.
He
it is
pushed off when he rounded the corner, Don.
Oh, I thought it was on the actual reception when he's coming back. So it's a call against the Bills.
Offensive pass.
And the Oilers negate that big play.
First down.
Yeah, when he made the cut, he put his right arm out and pushed away from the defensive back. That's a little trick that you learn as a receiver, but you've got to be tricky about it.
And now double trouble for Kelly and the Bills offense as they have first down and 20 to go. The game clock is running. I don't know if the Bills know it. It's down to 2:11 to play.
They need to get a playoff here before the 2-minute warning. 2:06, 2:05, 2:04, 2:03. They're not going to do it.
Boy,
they didn't know it.
They didn't know the clock was running.
Penalty on the offense. The clock does not stop.
So it's going to be down to the final gun here at Buffalo when we come back.
AT&T, the right choice. In Super Bowl 17, the Dolphins neutralized John Riggins in the second half. Down 17-13 in the fourth quarter, Washington faces a 4th and 1. Should they give the ball to Riggins or try Theismann on a quarterback sneak? What would you do?
This whole situation's running me ragged. I just found out I can't add any phones onto my new phone system. So now I've got 4 real estate agents working off the same desk on the same phone. I hate to think how much business I'm losing.
What did you decide? Washington went with John Riggins, who got the first down and more as the Diesel lumbered for the decisive touchdown as Washington made the right choice.
He is the most enigmatic of athletes. Ask him of his victory and he will praise his partner. Mention his role and he'll reply with a smile, "I was just riding to work."
Mike Rozier having his biggest day trump in the NFL. He's rushed for 150 yards today on 29 carries. Jim Kelly has completed 22 of 37 for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he's been intercepted twice. And the Oilers subsequently went the other way with both those turnovers to score points.
And the Bills right now are in 4-down area with first down and 20. You can't even think about 3 downs here. And they got to be in their hurry-up offense now. This has been practiced all summer long.
So the Bills set up their shotgun offense. First down and 20. They're down by 3 as the clock ticks inside 2 minutes. Here's a blitz. Incomplete pass to Riddick. Very nearly had it with one hand. Rob Riddick coming out of the backfield. Lyles was covering on the play, and a safety blitz was on from Donaldson.
Now let me tell you something I don't understand. The Bills have had great luck when they swing, or at least line, Ronnie Harmon 33 out in the flat. They've had great luck because he draws coverage from the strong safety. But they're not doing that. They're keeping him in the backfield there, and it would be a lot better to have him out. Well, now he's flanked out there to the left.
I think Andre Reed might be the man, number 83.
Here's Harmon.
Andre Reed, wide open, and he's out of bounds at the 49-yard line, but still way short of a first down.
Ran a crossing pattern. Harmon shortest. Reed across the other side.
Bostic came up tight on Reed, and he can't match him stride for stride, and Kelly saw it, went right to him.
So now it's third down and about 7. Makes no difference. 2-down area. The kicker means nothing in this situation. You're down by 3. You need another 15 or 20 yards before he's a factor.
Clock was stopped with Reed getting out of bounds, as you see, with 1:49 to play. What a football game. Glad you'll be with us on NBC Sports. The Oilers are leading the Bills 30-27. Buffalo with the ball.
Free play.
Was he drawn off?
Doug Smith, I believe, is off. In that set, Don, the offensive linemen are up in a 2-point stance. They can move around.
You're tough on these penalty calls. You got it again.
When an offensive lineman puts his hand on the ground, then he's stuck there. As long as he's up in that 2-point stance, he can move around anywhere he wants.
Offsides. Number 99 defense. Third down.
We get a striped shirt up here for Trumpy.
No, thank you. Absolutely not.
But no whistle. You think they overuse that whistle?
Yeah, I'd throw that whistle away.
The report card for the Bills. Interceptions were a costly area for the Buffalo team. Kelly was outstanding other than those 2. Riddick had a big day. Didn't rush for much, but made some big catches and ended up in the end zone twice.
Burkett was a big receiver for them. Harmon was a big receiver for them.
We're going to put 1:49 on the clock. As you see, it's now 1:47. It's turned out to be a perfect day in Buffalo. It was rainy and overcast early. Guess it has to be overcast if it's rainy.
Time is correct now.
Warren Moon with 134 yards, substantially less than the 310 he got against the Rams last week. But again, he has his team in front. Rozier on the ground has been a big story with 150 yards rushing for Houston. And Givens, a spectacular little athlete with 4 catches for 58 and that beautiful touchdown reception. Now the Bills break the huddle. It's 3rd down and 1 after the penalty call against Houston. Handoff to Harmon, turns the corner. He's got room to go, and Harmon gets out of bounds. Inside the 40-yard line, he has a first down for the Bills, and he stops the clock with 1:44 to play. Only 5 seconds used.
Excellent block again by Tim Vogler, the right guard, pulling right out in front of Ronnie Harmon, and he, as offensive line coach's coach, he blocked to and through the man, got the man on the ground. Harmon's able to run for the first down marker.
We're doing our best, my friends, to give you a 4-hour football game, and if it goes to overtime, we could do that.
I have no place to go. I'm more than happy to stay.
It's a good one. Here's Kelly in trouble on the run up the middle of the field, and Jim Kelly is down to the 30-yard line. He gains 8 yards on that run, but the game clock's a-ticking, and the Bills call timeout with 1:30 to play. They have 2 timeouts left.
Keith Bostic makes the tackle. It used to be that the official would come to the sideline, talk to the head coach, and say, "Who are your captains?" Because there used to be only one guy on the field that could call a timeout. A number of years ago, Steve Grogan for New England got absolutely cold-cocked, and time expired with him unconscious on the field. So now they allow you 2 players. Generally, it's the quarterback and the center. Those are the guys that are closest to the ball. Now, Kelly gets up here and looks to the sideline, then calls the timeout. The quarterback is the one man in the defense that you don't account for, and especially in the latter stages of a football game. Kelly's a big, strong kid. I think can continue to run the ball. Houston Oilers defense spread pretty good.
Second down and 2. The Bills with 2 timeouts left. The Oilers with a 3-point lead. Kelly looks. He fires. Broken up nicely. Coming up to make the play was Patrick Allen, the right cornerback. Burkett, the intended receiver, and now a very large third down arises. It'll be 3rd down and 2 for the Bills.
That was great coverage by Patrick Allen.
1:25 to play.
Burkett's got pretty darn good foot speed. You see, he pushes him off very good. Does an excellent job of pushing him off. Allen tries to keep contact, but watch him recover that little distance.
Big D play for Houston, and now the Bills have it 3rd down and 2. Oilers lead 30-27.
Quarterback draw.
Kelly gets some time, fires, he's got an end. Harmon open field inside the 20. And Harmon gets out of bounds at the 18-yard line with 1:14 to play. What a game. Oilers are leading, but now they're under siege, are the Oiler defenders. 12-yard gain to Harmon.
Richard Johnson finally makes the tackle. This is all Harmon. After he makes that catch, Don, I don't think he had enough for the first down. When he spun around, good protection. There's only a 4-man rush by Houston. Kelly steps up in that pocket. Now watch Harmon. Yeah, he had enough for the first down, but this is an excellent run on a missed tackle. Once again by Audrey McMillan.
1st and 10 for the Bills inside the 20-yard line of Houston. A throw over the middle and a catch down to the 10-yard line. Burkett comes off the flank. And Burkett is down to the 10-yard line. It is now, with the clock running down to a minute. The Bills call another timeout. They have 1 remaining as they try to get in the end zone. They were down by 10 points late in the 4th quarter, looking to get a touchdown, which would make them awfully tough to catch. And the Oiler defenders, worn out as is every player that's been on the field today. This has been a tough one, and it's not over yet.
Patrick Allen, the man in coverage. A delay inside by Burkett. Burkett able to accelerate away from him. You can see the Oilers there on one knee. Robert Lyles was over to the sideline talking to Jerry Glanville.
Yeah, this Burkett's got some numbers from.
7 catches, 115 yards. Kelly, 25 of 42, 283 yards. 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. They're going for 6 points now. They don't want the kicker out there.
1:02 to go in the game.
They just soon have Scott Norwood out there for the extra point.
Snap to Kelly. Here comes the rush. Here's a throw. Man's open. Touchdown, Buffalo. Ronnie Harmon. And Buffalo's rich stadium is in jubilation as the Bills somehow did it. The Oilers will have 57 seconds to do something when they get the ball.
Don, that's the formation I was talking about. That's the one that's worked for Buffalo all day. Jeff Donaldson, the free safety, was the man in coverage. The other part of that pattern is Burkett running the little delay inside. This time, Kelly goes deep in the end zone for 6.
The extra point, Trump, as you know, is critical. If Norwood makes it, it would mean the Oilers would have to go into the end zone. They couldn't tie the game with a field goal, but if it's somehow missed with their long-range kicker Zendejas and 57 seconds on the clock, Houston would have a chance to tie it with a long field goal and go to overtime. But that won't be the case. The extra point is good. The Bills somehow find a way down the stretch, and they take the lead 34-30. And now the Oilers will get it back with 7 ticks left on the clock.
Great pass protection by Buffalo. Now watch what happens. Ronnie Harmon is lined up outside the left tackle, Wolford. You see the delay inside, and Harmon just beats Donaldson like a drum. Harmon now 7 catches, 72 yards, and that touchdown.
Kelly with 293 yards passing. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns in this game. Harmon has caught 7. 7 receptions for Harmon. Burkett with over 115 yards in receptions for Buffalo. But now Warren Moon gets another crack at it, and we've seen him take the Oilers right through the Bills when he's had to. Warren Moon waiting on the sideline, keeping that right arm limber. He'll be a firing when he comes in. A high but short kickoff. Alan Pinkett to the 20. Pinkett breaks it out to the 31-yard line, and there the Oilers start first down and 10.
All right, Houston now has 2 timeouts left.
And now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is Jim Kelly from the Buffalo Bills. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games. Here we go as the Oilers are ready to unleash their high-speed offense. The roar is deafening. The Bills fans standing and cheering, trying to disrupt Moon. Here's a throw and a catch. And down at the 39-yard line is Ernest Givens. Game clock a-ticking. Houston has 2 timeouts remaining, but they have to get into the end zone. A long field goal would be a point short.
This is taking too much time.
30 seconds to go. 29 seconds as Warren Moon against the rush. Stands in, fires, intercepted by Pitts. Buffalo will win the game. Ronnie Pitts, whose dad is a coach for the Bills, intercepts Warren Moon. The Oilers' first turnover of the day seals the game for Buffalo.
Throws this ball right into coverage. Look at there. They were waiting back there for him, and Pitts just stepped up and lights out.
Our producer today for NBC Sports has been David Stern. Our director, Brian Sheriff. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Michael Weissman. The coordinating producer of football, Ted Nathanson, is here at Buffalo. The Bills come from behind. Down by 10, they scored 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter and win their first game of the season 34-30 over the Houston Oilers in what was really a sensational football.